Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monday night edition of the Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy, and I'm honored to be here with you guys on another wonderful evening. I have a really great show planned for your I couldn't say it, visual and listening pleasure this evening. Been a long day for me. Tonight, coming up on the show, we have a wonderful group of ladies, distinguished ladies, who are starting a campaign to support and encourage the Illinois Department of Public Health Director, Dr. Ezike Ngozi. Dr. Ngozi Ezike, broke down emotionally Friday while she was giving the update for Illinois COVID numbers. And her breaking down was very touching in many different ways. And so these ladies are here tonight, not only to talk about Dr. Ezike and her breaking down, but all healthcare workers and the importance of us embracing and encouraging them and thanking them for what they do for us each and every day. And then also on the show, October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, tonight we're going to have a roundtable discussion about combating the internal destruction of Black women in our community and how we can raise the value of Black life. We had two situations that happened here in Chicago within the last 3 weeks of domestic violence cases that turned really bad, and we're not bringing up the families out of respect of the families and the loved ones that they lost, but we're going to talk about the dynamics of the situation of a lot of these stories and how if we embrace and love each other more, these type of situations would not happen. All right, so if we are having any audio difficulties, I apologize, guys. It'll clear up just a little bit. Tonight, I decided I needed not one guest co-host, but two guest co-hosts. And both of these people have been here with us before. I consider them both very good friends. I think the synergy between all three of us tonight will be a dynamic show. Our first co-host is a young lady who celebrated her birthday with us. Whenever she's here, we get to meet her multiple personalities. And she's a sweetheart. She's a huge Bears fan. And instead of the Bears game tonight, she's spending the evening here with the Chat Daddy, and I'm happy to have her. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, our good friend, Miss Thyteria Towns. Yay! Yeah, hello, darling. How are you?
I am awesome. Clearly, I love you. I love my Bears, and I love you too. To give up my Monday night football game when we're on prime time.
Yes.
But we're having a great tonight, and I want to have it with you and your wonderful audience.
Yes, and here's what I love. Both of the topics we're talking about tonight is something that you really wanted to add input in on as well, too. And I thought that was really great. So that's why it made perfect. So forgive me for ruining your Bears plans this evening, but we are honored to have you hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you. It's in the background, and plus, hey, that's why we all got AT&T. We can hit the DVR button, record,
and get it back, baby, and get it back. All right. Our next co-host is a gentleman who I consider like a brother. He really is a brother from another mother. Very opinionated, always on point with what he's saying and doing. He's actually a great DJ. A lot of people don't realize that. And look, this past summer, he was on his yacht out on Lake Michigan, and he broadcasts from his yacht. You know, it's just not a rowboat, it's a yacht. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, our good friend, Mr. Christopher C. Avent. Yay, what up?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
I told you, on his yacht. How are you, Captain Chris?
I'm not loving land. I'm not a land lover right now. I'm not loving it. I'd rather be on the water. Too cold though.
It's
too cold.
Yeah, it's too cold. It's too cold.
Did you see the snow today?
I recorded the snow. I was a week ago today. I was in the Dominican Republic having fun, swimming in the ocean, and then I'm here and it's snow. I'm so depressed.
See, that's why we gotta get Trump out of office right there. That's it.
Wait a minute now. You think it snowed today because Trump is in office? Is it?
Yeah, and TT had to deal with snow when she just had tropics. See, this is all Trump's fault. Give me some time. I'll work it around. I'll make it all make sense.
Oh my God.
You made a good connection. And I got another.
I told you. And look, and his yacht could come right past your lakefront apartment.
I have to do is swim out.
That's all. That's all. That's all.
You have to leave nowhere. I'm like, you're here? Hold please. And I swim.
Right.
Just hear a splash. Okay.
Splash.
And really, and what I'm thinking about is running a bungee from your balcony. What floor you on? No, that might be an insurance risk.
What, me?
Yeah, because I was gonna do like a Catwoman bungee rope from your balcony to his yacht. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. On 19th floor, we can make this work all day.
Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. So did everybody have a good weekend?
What did I do this weekend?
Then it was a good weekend. If you can't remember, it was a good weekend.
Really?
You can't remember. That's a good weekend.
Today is Monday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Today is Monday.
What's the last thing you do remember?
I drove to Palatine or Plainfield. I think I went to Palatine. No, I did. Right. Oh, I remember the weekend now. I was held hostage at the BMW dealership all day on Saturday, but we're going to work some things out. And then Sunday, my college roommate is here visiting her brother in Plainfield, Palatine. I don't know what it is. So I wanted to put that car on the road and see if I really like it. So I drove out there. That's why it was the fog. I couldn't remember. It happened so fast.
So let me ask you this. You know there really is a difference between Plainfield and
right.
Palatine,
those are two opposite ends of the state. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Hold on. Erica. Hey, Erica, if you're watching.
I love it. I love it.
I went to Plainfield.
You went to Plainfield. Okay.
Plainfield.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm 55. Like you needed snacks and everything. I'm like,
oh yeah. Anything past 95th Street, I need snacks and possibly a hotel room. Like yeah. Like
these new cars, if you go over a little bit on the medium, your steering wheel starts to shake. I'm like, okay, y'all too smart for me.
Yeah, see, Chris lives in a jungle out somewhere in Baboonville or something. And you know, I'm like, dude, that requires a hotel stay. I need to make, I need some fried chicken in a shoebox, all of that.
With aluminum foil. It's a pound cake with aluminum foil.
Yes, because otherwise I would never be able to make it out there. Doesn't that sound good? Oh, and white bread and a bottle of hot sauce. Oh, a bottle of hot sauce. Okay. All right.
And about this much coleslaw. That's all you get about that much.
Wait a minute, because I'm trying to figure out how they think that little bit of coleslaw. Right. What is it for? Like I never.
Harold's distract you with that delicious chicken, and that's just like dessert. The little coleslaw. Yeah.
Using that little white thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's to cool a palate, to break up.
It's like a mint. It's like a mint after dinner.
Yes, because you got to make the mouth sauce. And then it's chicken.
Okay. All right. So that's my first question to you guys before I even give out the COVID update. Are you experiencing pandemic fatigue? Would you say, here we are, this started in March. Right. So a lot of us have been working from home. A lot of people, I talked to 2 people today who have not gone out of their homes at all during this situation.
You guys
Nothing.
Cold turkey in it?
Cold turkey. They are older in age, have health risks. But like both of you all have really lived your lives through this pandemic and you've been safe, from what I've seen. But
COVID test is negative.
Are you experiencing pandemic fatigue?
Well, that's why I went to the Dominican, because I couldn't take it no more. The tickets were so cheap. Like when you pay $39 to fly from Chicago to Miami, $39? Who do that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
From Dominican from Miami to Dominican was like $128. I mean, with a ticket that cheap, you gotta go.
Right.
You gotta go.
I do believe I have the fatigue, but when I know, like I was telling everyone when I came back, when you're over there, you have to wear your mask. They have a curfew. You're in the house by 7:00. You cannot go out. If you do, they will fine you and you will go to jail. I don't know about you people, but I don't go to jail in foreign countries.
Right. Yeah.
So my fatigue was real, but I mean, now I'm bad. I mean, I couldn't remember my password because I was off of work for too damn long, so I couldn't log in.
Mm-hmm. They got to retrain you now.
Right.
Start from scratch.
Was it a capital or was it a lowercase? So that messed me up for about 10 minutes. But like now, I'm good until about Christmas.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to get out this place again.
So now, Chris, your boat is out the water. You're back in the house. Let's talk about your pandemic fatigue. What has it been like?
Well, I've been working from home for years, so my social life looks exactly the same this summer as it did last summer. If I'm not at home, I'm on the boat. So I ran the streets when I was younger. I'm not missing it. I do miss my shows. I love my concerts. But here's the funny thing. I don't know about you guys, but I record a lot of video at concerts, and I never watch it. Right, I watch it maybe the next day to reminisce, but I never watch it again. But through this pandemic, I have years and years and years of video footage from all the concerts that I've been to. So really, I've been reliving, because otherwise I never would have watched it. I never would watch these videos. I have them. I store them on my computer. But I've been reliving all these moments. But yeah, my social life in the summer is boat or home, and I'm a homebody, man. I don't run the streets like that. At least I won't admit to it. But no, I don't have a fatigue at all, because I work from home, and I don't understand how people get fatigued from being at home. It's your house.
Yeah.
So if you can't stay in your house indefinitely and get stir crazy being in your own house, I think you need to change your surroundings a little bit.
No, yep. But like a lot of people, they have been like, I moved during the pandemic. I only moved 2 floors up, but it took me 2 months to move 2 floors. Yes. And then just having the whole change of scenery from being downstairs to up here, it's only 2 floors, but the layout is different. I felt a little bit more calming. I wasn't as anxious. Like, I really enjoy being in the house. Mm-hmm. It only lasts for about 5 minutes. And then I have a patio now that, really is reminiscent of what, all my friends who live in these huge, palatial homes with all the extra patio shit outside. Now I feel good being on my patio, my Papazon chair, and all my little stuff I got from Pier 1 before they went out of business. So that makes me feel good. But I got to tell you about your videos. Man, I'm with you. Why I just watched my A-Ball MJG video from 2010 in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, I'm sorry.
You know what? I knew who to put together tonight. I knew. Look, God works in mysterious ways. I negotiated all of this show tonight while in the doctor's office today. So let's just leave it at that. Whispering. I'm like, I'm in the doctor's office, but I need you to
look at me like, hey man.
Right. I'm hooked up to a machine, but I'll be home for the job tonight. I promise you that. Yeah. Oh, we good. I'm all good. It's just routine stuff. You know how the Tin Man has to get his oil changed. That's all. So I'm good. Right. That's good. All right. So let me give you guys the daily update numbers of COVID-19. As of today, Illinois health officials reported 4,729 newly confirmed cases of COVID-19. This brings the 7-day average for new daily cases now to 4,546 cases. It's the first time since the pandemic began the 7-day average has it exceeded 4,500. The 7-day statewide positivity rate has now jumped from 6.1 to 6.3. And Illinois officials reported 17 more deaths on Monday, bringing the death total now to 9,522. In recent days, Illinois has been averaging about 41 deaths per day, and that's up 23 from the beginning of the month. And it is being predicted by the end of the year 11,000 deaths will happen as a result of COVID-19. What are you all thinking about this? This is just not curving at all. It's really not.
I don't see people taking it seriously. I see so many people out here just hanging out. I don't know what it's going to take for people to take it seriously. Because it's not shocking. Unfortunately, it's not shocking that the numbers are skyrocketing because people aren't taking it serious. All these places that had patio dining, people were laying on top of each other almost. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Go ahead,
It's so weird. Like, So today I was driving down 95th Street and I actually went to Patillo's after I left the hospital. And to see so many people like we're in Patillo's, it wasn't that many people in the restaurant, but they're not wearing masks. And I always have a phobia of going inside place, either not wearing masks. Of course, I think I had a mask and I had the Carrie Steele's little neck guard went on. People, they're not taking it serious. And I witnessed people over the weekend I was driving somewhere when I was in a car, watching people not having masks on. The simple thing.
Yeah, but you have to look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The president of the United States is not wearing a mask. He's around having rallies. He's dancing. He doing the jig. He doing whatever he wants to do. So here's the deal. If I was somebody looking at the fact that this man does not wear a mask and a lot of his constituents don't wear a mask, what proof do we have that these masks really can save our lives? You know what I'm saying? Because
Donald Trump is immune. I mean, I heard him say that he's immune, so it must be true. But he caught it. So I mean, he caught the thing that he said didn't exist,
quote unquote.
So
caught it.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, for as many people that I've seen without masks, it's surprising that the numbers aren't even higher than they are, because there's certain groups of people that completely ignore it. From young and old, and the youth, you figure they would be giving it to each other all day long. Because I've never seen a group of young people in the last 2 or 3 months covered up. So, at the marina, I see boats with 10, 15 people, and they're nose to nose. And I thought it was going to skyrocket this summer based on that activity, but it didn't. So, I mean, it's really hard. I don't know what to think about it, because if it's really as contagious as they're portraying it to be, then a lot more people should be sick, but they're not. So I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not taking these chances.
Or the individuals that do get sick, or they could. I saw someone was like, he has immunity to stupidity, go Renee. But then the individuals who might have it, they might get it. They're asymptomatic. They don't spread it. And just to think about, like, I went to the Dominican with 6 people. I couldn't wait I had to wait 3 days before I had to go get my COVID test. I went right there at Gately Stadium on 103rd. It was real easy. It was the swabbing of your mouth. I got my test the next day. So we really have to push people and talk to our friends and families, because the holidays are coming up. So you got Thanksgiving, Christmas. I already know, ain't nobody coming to my house.
Right. Yeah. Oh, no.
And I got a monitor and Lysol and Clorox at the door.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Again, I have a birthday coming up, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'm used to, some type of celebration, cooking, having people over. And now, I'm the dude trying to get the prepackaged meal at the store, because, give me a meal or two out the deal and I'm good. So all of that will change as we know it. And I feel relationships will change as we know it too. If you're single and trying to meet somebody, this is going to be really something you need to question. Have you had a COVID test? Have you had an HIV and AIDS, STD?
You know, back in the day,
right.
Dude, you got an AIDS test, what's your status? Like, you don't talk to it if you don't know the status. So now it's like COVID, then AIDS, then, what else you might have.
Right.
It's lab.
That's a good first date. That's a good first date to go to a COVID testing center.
Man, please.
That is a 2020 first date.
Is that
the most important thing you can do in your life?
Oh, baby, you so fine. You so fine. Can we go get a COVID test together?
Let's go get a COVID test.
Right.
So, do you want to do the swab or do you want to do the nasal?
Well, that was going on before COVID, but you talking about something completely different.
No, that's a test. You can swab.
Oh, the test. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something completely different. My bad. That bad right there. That's mine. That's all me. My bad.
Right. Right. That's the same way everywhere I go, and they said, Mr. Sims, we need to take your temperature. I have to remind myself to stop dropping my pants, because
it's just the forehead. It's just the forehead, Art. It's just the forehead.
Oh, and wait a minute. Did you notice the wrist also? That they don't have that they can take your temperature. Wrist. They can take your temperature right here on your wrist. It does not have to always be the forehead. Some people extend their wrist.
When I
Yeah.
go to Christ, I'm at Christ like 3 or 4 times during the week. So they do it at the wrist.
Right.
I'm glad they're not doing it with the forehead because it's like that's a gun and it's pointing in the middle of my head. You know, I'm black. I get PSTD. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I always tell people, I'm like, you know, I could be asymptomatic. I could be
Mm-hmm.
asymptomatic. They're paying attention.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else in hot topics and news and gossip you guys want to talk about from the weekend?
Well, one of us can't remember what they did this weekend, so I guess it's on me.
I was
No,
hostage.
You say what, Chris?
no. She said she was held hostage by BDSM. I mean BMW. I'm sorry, I said to get the letters mixed up.
Yeah.
Right. Same sentiment.
Yeah, that was on Saturday. I knew, like, that's why I couldn't remember what I did on Saturday because I'm like, what happened?
See,
Yeah.
you missed what he said. He said you were a part of a S&M situation. And
Yes,
then he said,
no,
"Oh
I
no,
said-
GC."
I knew it was an M in there. I knew it was an M.
And then
I thought
he
you
said, "Oh, I'm
S&M.
sorry." Right. He thought you said S&M.
Right. I thought you said S&M. She said BM and W. Right. Okay.
Yes.
I got it
Right.
now.
I know, but whips and chains excite me. Rihanna made a song about it.
Well, then there must be something to it. If Rihanna made a song about it,
Yeah,
bitch better have my money.
all day. AMG was first. AMG was first.
And what? And what?
AMG was first.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Okay. All right. So our condolences go out to Jamie Foxx. He lost his 36-year-old sister over the weekend.
Oh, no.
This was his sister that he talked about quite often. She suffered with Down syndrome. She suffered with Down syndrome, and that he loved and adored her. And once he became famous, he took her in and had her living with him. Well, she passed away this weekend at the age of 36. So we want to give our condolences out to Jamie and his sister. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember him taking it to award shows.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
when he was, especially when he was up to get the award for Ray, when he was up for Oscar for Ray.
Yes.
And he was always with him. And, everyone talks about girl dads. I give it up to all the brothers who love their sisters.
Uh-huh. And we have to talk about that one night because you are the only girl of how many brothers?
Oh, Jesus. 7 boys. So technically it's like some other siblings running around here. Because I'm a Gemini, I cannot accept anybody else. So therefore I am the only child. But lately, like my little sisters, I've been communicating.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't want to kill her anymore. I remember when she was a baby, I didn't want her because I didn't want people to think my mother had her when I was 16. Now people gonna think this is my kid. Oh, hell no. I wanted to drown her.
Oh Lord, true confessions on my show. Why is that though? Why did you not want to get along with the younger sister? Because you wanted all the attention?
I was the only girl. You don't know how much street cred is to be the only girl with all boys. I know how to change tires.
Yeah.
And I was a sports chick. Dude, I'm good. Now you bring this baby here and I'm young, and then I didn't want people thinking this was my kid. And like people in the church, oh, she got pregnant. Well, they didn't say that. They said, oh, she broke a leg. Like, that's my mama baby. That ain't mine.
Oh.
Yeah, I treated her majority of her life. And then now, she has babies now that I like. So I'm better.
Okay. See, a work in progress.
I'm glad to see you're growing. Good to see you're growing.
Everybody has to grow and evolve. I'm the first to admit I am not perfect. But I'm close to it.
Well, another story that I want to address on Saturday morning, social media was on fire saying that R&B singer Angela Bofield had died. And when I woke up Saturday and started reading the reports and the stories, I started doing my research. And what was so crazy about this, really credible people were reporting that Angela Bofield had died. Radio stations, music executives, all of that kind of stuff. And And a few hours later, come to find out Angela Bofield is not dead. Her manager issued a statement. She eventually issued a statement saying that she's so glad to still be alive, but it's been a blessing for her because everybody was going to download her music, buy her music, all of that. So it was kind of like she got a blessing from the grave and she wasn't even in the grave. And so singer Angela Bofield is not dead. She's alive and well. And Melba Moore must have posted something, and the media took Melba's post as if she died, because I was confused too when I read the post. I said, well, is she dead? Is she dead? And I kept doing all my research, and no, Angela Bofield had not died. So we're we're happy about that. I love Angela Bofield. I do. All right. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen, you want to cover? Anything else in the news? We are 8 days away from Election Day. 8 days. 8 days away from Election Day. Did you vote already?
Here we go.
Very
I voted
good.
on the first day of October the 1st, the Super Center.
Okay, very good. Chris, did you vote already?
Not as yet.
Okay. Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
No judgment. No judgment.
No
Why?
judgment. No judgment.
Why?
I'm sorry?
I say I want to ask a question. Why haven't you voted?
Oh, I'm planning to go on the 3rd.
Okay.
Oh, he actually going Election Day. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, but see, the reason why I did it early, because I like to vote Election Day, but because of they moved my polling place. Was it in February? I mean March, when we voted March 17th. They moved it. They moved my polling place. It took me forever to find it. It was like really difficult to know where I want to go. I didn't want any hiccups. I wanted to just get it over with.
Right.
That's why I did it. But this is Chicago. You can vote early and often.
Yep, I voted at an elementary school over in Hyde Park. So yes, I voted already. Okay. All right, very good. Well, listen, we want to remind everyone that we are in the midst of a global pandemic. In order for us to get past this horrible virus, COVID-19, we're reminding everybody, guests, wear your mask, get your mask. Make sure you have your mask. Please wear your mask. Easy, simple. Put your mask on. All of that good stuff. Oh, there you go. All right, Chris, what is your mask say? Oh, is yours a DJ mask?
No.
Oh, what does it say?
Can't see that?
Breathing.
Oh, wait. Powering Chicago.
You know, I'm an electrician, local 134.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Ty, what does yours say? Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you. It's Crew Rare by Charles Mambo. My neighbor, he's Hyde Park. It's something with Hyde Park. I think he's the Hyde Park social media dude.
Okay.
And this is his tribal code from, I think he's Nigerian.
Okay.
I messed it up, but I like it. So I feel good because I'm his neighbor and I get to wear all the stuff. Bring it out.
Okay.
So,
very good. My mask says, let's gather at a distance. So that's perfect for me. Let's gather at a distance. Now, I don't mind gathering, but we need to do it at a distance. So there you go. This was gifted to me. People are gifting me masks now. So I got to find out where my friend, but right now it's a bunch of Thanksgiving masks out and stuff like that. And so that's what this one says. All right.
I like that for that one. But also, Pat, did you have you watched the Wendy Williams show?
I have not seen Wendy Williams lately. What is going on with her? Is she off the track again?
She's off the track again, having episodes.
What's she do?
Cannot get her words out. She's slurring. She's sitting down. She's doing all of this. She's doing Team Too Much. She's already Team Too Much, but now it's Team Too Much in public. So Friday, people were like tweeting about it. I found out because of my friend Tabby. I can't wait for you to meet her. You guys are going to love each other. But Tabby put on her social media post, and then I watched it that Sunday night. Saturday, my brain was gone. But she was like losing it. And then she was on today. She was cute. But yeah, she's losing it.
Well, somebody said that one of her former staff members was saying that whatever her condition is and whatever she's going through, that you can see it's a difference in her behavior and everything. And Wendy's been out there and has done some things. I love her as a person, but she's experiencing some things. We heard that she's suffering with Graves' disease.
Yep.
So, I mean, I get that when you are struggling and fighting something and don't know what it is, sometimes you do weird things. So I don't know. We just wish the best for Wendy.
We got to just keep her in the prayers, but they have a biopic that's coming out on her on Lifetime.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, we can't wait for everybody to see it either. We want to also remind everybody to wash your hands. Soap and water is the best way to go. If you have soap and water, please use it. If not, hand sanitizer is always acceptable. You just grab a little hand sanitizer. Make sure you clean your hands real good, fingertips, everything. Get it real good. Right, look. Chris looking like, okay, look, get them hands off.
I don't know. I need my sanitizer.
That's all right. We just so glad. Look, Chris, we just so glad you ain't do this.
Yeah, Kiki, give me some. Give me some, Kiki, right here.
Right.
Kiki, right there. Whoa, come on. Okay.
There you go. All right.
Keep that
all right.
We also want to remind you guys the social distance. Social distance is at least 6 feet from the person around you. So whether that's in front of you, behind you, next to you, 6 feet, stand back. In the grocery store, a lot of you guys are having a hard time following the rules with that. A lot of our elderly people, they don't get that yet. They don't see the floor markings, any of that kind of stuff. And then a lot of the young people do that too.
No, Mariano's and Home Depot on North Avenue. Dudes are still trying to holler, and we are in doggone COVID, like 6 feet, dude. Hey, baby, can I help you with anything? Here, my car. I don't need you. I got it. I'm looking for light bulbs.
Kiki, but you don't see the fact that this brother is willing to risk his life to come holler at you.
I know.
That's how deep he's coming for you, girl. You gotta feel that. You gotta feel he's putting his life on the line just to say hi to you.
Well, I'll approach people differently, but when you're that close, you're too close to my space, and I'm just here to get the light bulbs because it's hard to find the incandescent light.
You gotta do. You know what? I just had an idea. I think for my Halloween costume, I'm just gonna get a white sash with black letters that says "Sanitize for your protection."
Yes. Wouldn't that work? Wouldn't that be the best?
That would work. That's a throwback right there. Sanitize. So when I step to you. Boom, you know what I'm saying? Sanitize for your protection. Come on now. Come on.
Your protection.
Okay.
I got a label. I'm certified. You got to come wrapped in plastic. Baby, could you break my seal and check me out? Come on now. I'm working on this. Oh man. There's got to be a way you can approach somebody. You said bubble wrap.
You know I love bubble wrap. Wrap you in some bubble wrap.
Yeah, I like bubble wrap. I love
bubble wrap.
She's just trying to pop it. Come here, baby. Pop.
And our last advice to you guys during this pandemic, if you're not feeling well, stay at home. That's right. If you're not feeling good, please call your boss, job, whoever, and just tell them you're not feeling well. Because our advice on this show is to please keep your ass at home if you're not feeling well. It's the number one thing you can do. Right now, sick days are easy to come by. Nobody wants you. Don't nobody want you bringing whatever it is you get into the workplace. So please do what's right.
Pay vacation now. Isn't the state law they still have to pay you for 2 weeks if you have symptoms?
Oh yeah, you get 14
Yeah, you 14 days. So that's a paid 2-week vacation. I don't see why people would rather come to work sick when you get. I know my buddy's son 2 weeks off from Walmart paid because he had COVID. So I don't see why this is so hard. You're getting paid. It's not like you're losing money. So sit down.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm happy for my 40 hours of sick time that I have not used so far. So hey, normally I take my at least one good day out of a month. And now I just roll over and put the laptop in the bed with me. and then bring your butt in the living room the rest of the days. Yay!
Okay. All right. All right. Well, with that being said, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Monday night edition of the Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be here with you guys on this beautiful, it's actually a beautiful Monday evening. We had snow
Oh,
and precipitation earlier today in some parts of Chicago. It did get very cool this evening. So it is one of those evenings that you may want to check your furnace, turn the heat up a little bit, put the heavier blankets on the bed. And most importantly, you may want to dig out those winter coats. It's supposed to be chilly all the rest of this week. It will get back into the upper 50s, maybe low 60s on Halloween, which is Saturday. And so we want everybody to be well prepared for that. All right, here's the deal. Do me a favor, go over to YouTube, like the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube. It's easy and simple. Just press the subscribe button. Free, does not cost you anything. Same way on Facebook, the Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook, and be a part of the dialogue Monday through Thursday nights from 7 p.m. until we get tired. I have two amazing co-host tonight, Miss Thyteria Towns up there in that box, and Mr. Christopher C. Avent Sr. Man, your name gets longer each and every time. And they right. I'm looking for Thurston Howell the third to be put in there somewhere, because maybe your name get long every time. I'm like, dang, I can't say that. Right.
Gotta add something to it, man.
Yeah, look, now he's smoking his pipe. He like, yes, Thurston Howell.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Hey, man. Hey.
The Love Boat.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey.
Absolutely.
I like your studio better than your last one, Art. I can get away with so much more here.
Oh, this studio? Yeah. Oh, yes, you can.
Versus your previous situation.
Yeah. Amen.
Couldn't even bring water in the studio.
Yes, amen. No, this is a wonderful place. Good studio. Everybody's in their own place. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on. Our first segment this evening is to pay homage to healthcare workers, as well as on Friday, while delivering her daily update on the state of Illinois, Dr. Ngozi. Did I get it right? Or is it Ngozi? No. Yeah, I said it right. Ngozi Ezike was delivering her daily numbers when all of a sudden she broke down, turned around, and had to be offered tissue. She had to compose herself. I was watching this live when it was happening, and to me, as a man, it just was the most touching thing ever. Since then, she has made worldwide news about what happened. And so a young lady who's getting ready to be a guest of ours, Miss Susan Ellis, had sent me a message and said, Chat Daddy, we need to do something to rally around her and other healthcare workers, because they're not the only one. She's not the only one. We know there are so many other people. So tonight we want to have a conversation about encouragement, upliftment. How can we support her and all of our other healthcare workers? And so the lady behind this, and she actually has some guests with her, is Miss Susan Ellis, and she's an esteemed lady. How are you there, my dear? Good evening.
With Frederick in the background in the mask.
Hello.
Love it.
I know, I love it. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Oh, she's on mute.
You on mute. Unmute your mic. There you go. Hey, how are you tonight? Yeah.
Thank you. Greetings. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on here tonight. This is an honor, and I am so blessed to be here with you. But, the reason I'm here tonight is to say thank you, Dr. Ezike, for all that you're doing for us. I mean, because she is trying so hard to save our lives. And I think that's so important, because we need someone to keep us in check. And she's trying to do the best she can for the whole state of Illinois, not just the city of Chicago, but the whole state of Illinois. And you're so right. When I was watching that live, at first I thought, oh, she's being such a lady, she's got to turn around and blow her nose, right? Then I was like, wait a minute, something's not right there. And then when I saw it, I said, she's having a little bit of a breakdown. And I can only imagine, because she really does have our lives in her hands
Mm-hmm.
as our Illinois Public Health Director. And that really moved me, because I know I have a play brother who's a doctor, and he's over 13 states on the Eastern Seaboard for a large health concern. I don't get to see him anymore. He can barely
Mm-hmm.
even go to me. I see it in these nurses. I see it in these doctors. They're overburdened.
They are. They really, really are. They very much are. Let's bring in Jacqueline Hudson. She's also another person that is concerned and wants to be a part of this wonderful conversation. Good evening tonight. How are you? And welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good,
Greetings,
good,
Hello.
good.
greetings from Bowling Green, Ohio.
Oh my goodness. Oh, how is the weather in lovely Bowling Green, Ohio?
It's exactly the same in Chicago as in Chicago. It's warm.
Oh,
I mean, it's cool.
um,
It's cooler. It's getting cooler.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I do have a question. What drew you into this wonderful situation? Here you are in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we are
Ohio.
talking about. I mean,
Ohio.
see, oh, right. Don't
Yeah,
say right.
I did too.
Ohio,
At first, when I
Ohio.
went to when I was getting ready to go to school here, and I'm like thinking like, oh, it's Bowling Green, Kentucky, but they was like, nope, it's Bowling Green, Ohio. I was like, great. So I'm moving from the snow to the snow.
Yes. Okay. So, what drew you to this particular story? Because there you are in Ohio, but this touched your heart as well too. Tell us what drew you into this.
So I saw it on Facebook. Like somebody posted the video, and I mean, like watching it, like it kind of threw me because, like, this woman is doing her daily, reports on the COVID or COVID-19, and I'm like, and then she stopped, and then like you could tell that she had like a lump in the throat, and then a few seconds later she turns around, and she tried to like excuse me, because she basically doing these reports, and like she has to be, I guess, have to deliver the news or whatever, but I'm like thinking like this woman, we fail to realize that these people are human too,
Mm-hmm.
and so, and then I only found out maybe like a couple months ago that I found out she's a soror, because I'm a member of the illustrious Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And one of the things that I wanted to do, even though I don't know her, we always, we always support each other with, with the good, with the bad and the good. So I just feel like we need to, lift her up, and, and not just, obviously be, of course, because, we're sorors, but just because she's just a human being, so that's really one of the things I wanted to, I chimed in on like, on Friday saying, she's a soror, and then also I'm trying to get other sorors to, try to lift her up, in these trying times.
Okay, beautiful. And we're glad to have you here tonight. We got a little feedback there, but that's what this is all about. How can we encourage? How can we inspire and motivate? Her breaking down, crying, really to me said, you know what? This is really deep. This is deep. And this is something that I guess we need to see more of. If we are in a time right now of living through something we've never lived through before. And again, you're watching your president run around with no mask on, have parties with 1,000 people at it, all of that. And here you have a Black woman that is not, as Susan said, not just Chicago, but the entire state of Illinois. And to have to give sad numbers every day that are steady on the uptick, I can only imagine. I can only imagine the anxiety this woman goes through.
Chad, I want to mention that she not only has to deal with the C19 virus, but she has a lot of other responsibilities.
Right.
And as we were trying to decide, when I said, hey, we should start a card writing campaign, Jacqueline jumped in real quick. She said, hey, I want to be a part of this. We also the AKA sorority reach out
Yes.
to us. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll have all the Divine Nine as well. And
Yes.
you have to understand, we're talking about millions of people that she's dealing with. And
Yes.
when you think about that, that's a lot. And I know when I had to deal with sickness and illness, not me personally, but my family members. My brother, when he was in the hospital, he was in his last days. Some people sent him cards and plans, and he said, "Susan, I didn't know I was so loved." Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, my heart. And so by writing a card, I mean, just get a card, sign it. You don't have to write a whole long letter.
Right.
Just sign it.
Right.
Send
Okay.
it to her to let her know that she is appreciated, that she
Mm-hmm.
is loved and supported and encouraged. Because see, what they did was put this on national news. And what better thing to see for news is a Black woman breaking down on television.
Right.
So we
Right.
want to let her know we care.
Yes. Well, we have another guest that is joining us, and I'm honored to have her here this evening. She's a Cook County commissioner. She's a Howard University alum, and we were just talking about the Divine Nine. And of course, we have a Delta on here, and no conversation would be complete without a lady from Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Not only is she a commissioner, you know, I love commissioners, but she truly is a good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
welcome.
Oh, hey, Chat Daddy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It is such an honor to have you here with us this evening. And the two ladies before you have really just said such beautiful things. We witnessed something Friday that I think moved all of our hearts. And when they said that you wanted to be a part of this conversation, I said, I think this is beautiful. What did last Friday say to you when you saw that moment on television?
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for addressing this topic. And I have to thank my HU sister, Susan, for, leading the charge on getting people to, have empathy and compassion and to be able to show it. And it's just an idea that gets sparked, and that's how things happen. So I felt the anguish, and I felt the whole burden as she was speaking, because you cannot go day by day for every single day since this pandemic started and not feel the weight of the public, because this is public health. That's what we're talking about. Feeling the weight of the public on your shoulders, in your heart, in your mind. I'm sure that those numbers represent people when she's talking about not only the number of cases, but also the number of deaths. And we can't negate what that means to keep hearing those numbers grow day by day. And to have that on you as the person who is conveying the news, but the person who's also has to tell you what you should do to protect yourself, and how hard she knows she's fighting to make sure that people do that, and they're not doing it. How hard that has to be to feel that every single day. So wanted to show my humanity, my compassion, my empathy towards this situation, not only just because we shouldn't take her for granted. And I felt bad after I realized that we should have done this before she had to break down, really. Just say thank you. And actually, Susan, I'll have to tell you this, that someone that I know, she says that she sends people regular cards on a monthly basis, like people in the public who do this. That's so nice.
Right.
Who knew? You know what I mean? Like, so nice.
Yeah.
People just need to hear thank you. And so she said, I've sent her a card at least 6 times already.
You know, what I wanted to find out from you more than anything, you're out here in the public, much like myself and everybody else, and it's required in who we are as humans to, be out. Have you had any, fears or doubt, Commissioner? You always look great, and you do have to do public things, and you keep yourself safe. But have you had any moments of, oh my goodness, here I go again out here in this world?
Well, every day, honestly, Art, because of who I'm around and how many people. And I will say, like, okay, so just today, someone invited me to come to something, and I was like, okay, how many people is it? Where is it?
Mhm.
Where?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I'm
right.
curious. I'm like, and then, or I'm at an event and people want to take a picture. Okay, I'm all for the picture if we're 6 feet apart.
Right. Right.
I, or they say, oh, let's just take off our mask real quick. I'm like, oh no, I won't be in that picture then. Um,
Mhm.
no, it's not a real quick. I take this very seriously, especially being out in the public. And it's not just for myself, it's for the other people. Like they say, the mask protect us, but it also protects others. And I can
Mhm.
tell you, I don't want to make it a big deal, but like you're out there, then you find out 2 days later, someone you were around tested positive for COVID.
Mhm.
What if I'd have hugged that person or
Yep.
took my mask
Mhm.
off around that person or didn't wash my hands when I left when I saw that person or stayed there for an hour when I really should only have been there 10, 15 minutes
Mhm.
because of the timing thing. I mean, all of that stuff has to come into play with
Mhm.
everything that you do out in the public.
Well, you know what, ladies, I think that this idea was just grand. Susan, when you talked to me about it, I said, listen, get us some people who want to talk about this because, not only Dr. Ezike, but there are so many other people on the front line that have been working their way right through this. And I really do think we need to love and embrace people a little bit more when it comes to this. Co-host, anything you want to say to these amazing ladies tonight?
I just want to give a round of applause to the wonderful, beautiful African American women that's making a change in this world. I literally saw what Chat Daddy said on the day it hit, because normally I would, turn it on my phone and watch the press conference or watch it on TV. And when he was like, "Oh my Lord," she crying. It was like bam, touched it, and you just felt the raw emotion in it. And to see, I always say, she has the weight of the world. Forget the state of Illinois. She has the weight of the world on her shoulders because I used to work in politics. I guarantee you, everything that they're getting, they know a little bit more that they ain't telling us. Sorry.
Mhm.
But
Absolutely.
she
Mhm.
knows some other things that's going on out here that we don't know. And
Mhm.
I mean, for her to deal with this on a daily basis, I applaud her. I can't wait. I got me some really nice new cards with the monogram ready. So someone had put her address to the state of
I'll put the address up here for you guys in just a second.
Yeah.
Brother Chris, anything you want to say to the ladies tonight?
No, I mean it's an excellent thing. It's an excellent idea. This is a beautiful thing because this sister truly needs support. Every sister needs support. I'd love to see all of us in the community do this, but because everybody has the weight of their own personal world on their shoulders, her more than any of us can probably understand. But yeah, this is a beautiful gesture, and hopefully this will go to, I don't know, changing the dynamic of our culture. We just start reaching out and supporting each other like we used to.
Right.
man.
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner, I want to come to you. I'm gonna let all you ladies have your closing thoughts tonight. Most importantly, we're 8 days away from election day. This is a very critical election. On this show, we don't say candidates, we just get our words out. But I do want you, Commissioner, to kick it off with words of encouragement for everybody this time of year, a little support about voting, and anything else that you want to put out there. Thank you so much. Go right ahead.
Well, great. Well, thank you. I mean, and first, I have to say that I live with a frontline healthcare worker. Okay.
Yes, you do.
And the other thing that's important about that is the people that support him in his office are all women and mothers and caregivers and people who have to come to work every day because they have to work for their job, but they are putting their lives at risk. And I just want to make sure that we all are recognizing all the frontline healthcare workers because most of them are women of color. And they don't get the recognition that they deserve either. The people who work in the clinics and the hospitals and the nursing homes, all of those people. I want to make sure. And if we want to start another letter writing campaign, that we should thank some of them as well. But I also think that this is voting season. Obviously, it was out there first day of early voting in suburban Cook County, which was on Monday. The lines were long, but long lines are a good thing. And I think long lines show that people are excited and they want to do their civic duty. And I think the best thing that I've also seen from this election is the number of first-time voters, and they all are not young. I was in with two women who are senior citizens. And they said this was the first time they voted. I don't know how old they were, but I'd venture to say they were over 70.
Wow.
First time they voted, and they said this wasn't going to stop them. They were both not very, bodily abled. They needed to sit down. They didn't have wheelchairs, but they couldn't stand up. Everyone was accommodating them, and they said, we just want to go last because we just want to sit here and relax, make sure that everybody votes, and we just want to go last. So
Wow.
I think that we just have to, like we said, encourage our community, uplift people, help people, talk to people. If this pandemic hasn't shown us anything, one thing, it's brought neighbors closer together. It's brought families closer together. It's brought schools closer together because of cooperativeness that people have to use now just to get by, because we are all in a struggle and we all have things going on and we never know what the next person's issue is.
Right.
So we should just care for them and love them.
Oh, I love it. I really do. That was well said. It really was. Jacqueline, I'm gonna let you go next. Anything that you want to say in closing? Definitely encourage everybody to vote. And then, if there's something you're doing, particularly where you are or your group and organization, let us know about it. Go right ahead.
Okay, so well, first of all, everybody's paying attention to the presidential, on the federal level, but also, be involved and be aware about your local elections as well. Because actually, to be honest, it's more important than because it affects your community. So I feel like that, you got to be, very aware of what's going on locally as well as, regionally and federally. So, go vote. I'm pretty sure, as I see on the news, that there's a lot of, long lines, which as Ms. Donna said, that it's very encouraging that people are, like, there are long lines during early voting. That's definitely very encouraging. So, and then in regards to Dr. Ezike, I've actually put out, a notice for like some of the sorors around the country. They thought it was a really great idea. And then I actually reached to a couple of the actual two chapters of Delta Sigma Theta in Chicago, and they're going to pass the word along too. So, and I've actually got my sorors here in Toledo, trying, reach out to them as well. So, but yeah, and again, thanks for letting, providing this platform for me. And then also I want to thank Miss Susan as well to include me in this conversation.
Very good. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you here. Miss Susan, your closing thoughts. And look, Susan, the picture of Frederick Douglass with the mask on, where do we get that?
Yes,
Honey, I need to hang that in the foyer of my place. I love that. Go
So
right ahead with your thoughts.
This is my buddy, my escort, Sir Frederick Douglass. This is a piece done by Nicholas Smith. This was also a yard sign that it was a pop-up jazz program, and they used these as part of the Wear a Mask campaign. So if you went to the pop-up, you had to wear a mask. So he also wanted to say that Sir Frederick Douglass, since he couldn't actually be here, he wanted to say that without a struggle, there can be no progress. So this is a struggle. And my thing about it is, what's so important? Your life or going out to eat? Would you rather go out and eat or death? I mean, that's just for real. There are a lot of things that they're doing that are great for going out, but I just think at this point in time, we just need to stop, stay in your house, do what you need to do, go out for your necessities and wear your mask and go vote. And also make sure you vote with, check on your judges before you vote for your judges. Yes. So what we're doing with Dr. Ezike, this mission is called Each Queen Lift a Queen. So it's not just Dr. Ezike, but as Donna mentioned, you're healthcare workers. If you know you're going to the doctor or whatever, and you know you have a favorite person there, or maybe not a favorite, maybe you don't even know them, drop them a card. Let them know that you care for them like they care for you. If you'd like to send a card, and I just want to make sure because some people may have forgotten how to do it. This is called an envelope.
Wait a minute.
That's right.
This is called a stamp. You put the stamp there.
There
If
you
you don't want
go.
to put your current address, you can just put your zip code so they know it's for real because they may think it's something else. And this is called a card. You put the card in the envelope, you seal it up, make sure you have a stamp so it goes through. It's only 50 cents. And you drop it in a mailbox. If you don't have a mailbox, you just leave it in front of at your front door, and your mail carrier will pick it up and deliver it for you. Okay,
Really? What
so now
neighborhood you live in?
Right. Because I can't leave it at my front door. They're gonna steal it.
Right.
Right. They'll step over it at my front door. You live in a good neighborhood. Right.
You live in a bungalow somewhere.
Okay,
Right.
I live in Gresham, but I see my postal carrier quite often, and she works hard, and she makes it easy breezy. So I love her. Also, Dr. Ezike, she goes between Springfield and Chicago, I believe, but we have her address at 69 West Washington,
I have it
35th
along
floor,
the spring. Yep.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yes.
And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Ladies, you did a wonderful job. Susan, you could not have put, three better, you, yourself, and these other two ladies together. I've known Donna forever. I feel like Jacqueline is a good friend now. And when you told me you wanted to get this message out there, I agreed because I did think it was very sentimental what happened on Friday, but I really did feel pain and the anguish, and just being somebody who's suffering with anxiety now because of all this, I can only imagine you are the head of all of this and the anxiety you're going through. Yes, Susan.
One more thing to tie in on your next part of this program. When we talk about each queen lift a queen, with those things that happened last week with those horrible murders, we must lift up all queens and protect them.
You're absolutely right. And our next conversation is for us to talk about how do we keep it from even being a domestic violence situation? How do we continue to let people charm people into the wrong situations? And that's what we're going to talk about next. So thank you. You're absolutely right. Well, ladies, I just want to say God bless you all. You did an outstanding job. You are truly queens. When you step up to help a queen whose crown needs adjusting, you all came to the rescue. And co-host, let's give our guests a big round of applause. Yay! They did a great job. Right. They did a great job. Thank you, ladies. God bless you, and have a great night. We appreciate you all.
Too.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you. See you later. Bye. That was great. That was wonderful.
Good job.
Yes. Co-host, are you having a good time still?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think this was so wonderful to bring all the women from not different genres, but different age groups to be represented and backgrounds. And Donna Moore talked about, being in a public event. I remember when I went to my first fundraiser, I'm like, okay, I'm sort of scared. Who's going to be there? How many people? Carrie Steele did an amazing job for her flash fundraiser. It was 4 hours.
She sure did. I saw it on social media. Yeah.
I loved it. It was in and out. You write your little check. You get a whole little set, nice little bag with some hand sanitizer and stuff in. Take a picture, and you out the door. Right.
Very good. Chris, you okay down there, DJ?
Yeah, man. Anything. Well, I know. Earlier this year I did a fundraiser. A virtual fundraiser. So, hey, man. Anytime I see us coming together to get back to the culture that we started with, right? That's organically in us. That's what gives me hope that we're on the right track.
Very good.
All right. Each queen lift a crown. Like now, I got a crown somewhere. I got a tiara. I don't know where it's at.
I do too. Didn't we wear them on the show tonight? You were on here. I thought we wore them.
Man, we were supposed to be wearing tiaras.
Yeah,
No,
we
you
didn't
sit
require
down.
you to wear a tiara, right? We
But I
went,
have
yeah.
a question, Chris. What's in that cup? Because that's a mason jar. You know, some things be a mason.
Oh, yeah, I keep the country. Kuntree. Country. Oh yeah, yeah, country. That's right. Sound it out.
Country.
Country.
I like that.
Tree. Yeah. Well,
All
you know what?
right, all right.
I love these glasses because I hate making multiple trips, and this holds 30 ounces of whatever I happen to be consuming. So this is one of the biggest glasses I can find, and I like glass, not plastic. So yeah, I'm keeping it real.
I love
All
it.
right. So that's
And
his
when I finish,
thirsty.
I can go pickle something if I want to.
Thirsty
That's
man.
right. That's his thirsty 2-ouncer. All right. Well, coming up on the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, historian and author Tammy Gibson will be here. She's written a wonderful book entitled Honoring the Legacy, a guide to African American monuments and statues. As you guys all know, Tammy has traveled the world to go to each one of our monuments, statues. She's even gone to the grave sites of most of our famous Black ancestors who have gone on, celebrities, historians. Tammy is the bomb when it comes to this, and she has a new book. And then tomorrow night, Hollywood will join us on the show. Actor Carl Weathers, you guys would best know him as Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. Carl Weathers will be here tomorrow night along with activist Paul Allen Smith, and they'll talk about a new book, Pen Pal, which is the story of a gentleman who was serving life in prison. And it's really powerful. So I'm looking forward to talking to both of those gentlemen tomorrow night on the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show.
Well, look at art. Got Action Jackson coming on here.
Tomorrow night.
Yes.
On the show. All right,
absolutely. He'll be on tomorrow night. I know. Look, don't play my little show cheap now. Don't play my little right. Don't play my little show cheap. Now that I ain't got to buy plane tickets, everybody gonna be on my show. Right. See, before I was like, damn, I got to buy a plane ticket. I wonder if they'll fly on Spirit. I wonder if they don't mind the middle seat on Southwest. Now, look, all them celebrities got to do is do what we doing. Boom, there you are, baby. So yes, very good. So make sure you tune in to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. So Miss Thyteria Towns, back from her Dominican vacation, is hanging out with us as our female guest co-host tonight, and Mr. Christopher C. Avent Sr. Thurston Howell III is our male co-host this evening. And so we've had a lot of shenanigans and foolery, but we've also had a lot of great dialogue. You both enjoying yourselves?
I'm loving it. Christopher, what does the C stand for?
I'm sorry?
Christopher C. What does C stand for?
Claude.
Oh, Christopher Claude. Isn't that right?
Even Senior.
Yeah, so if you have a baby by him, the baby would have to have a really strong name. Like you couldn't have a baby by him and end up calling the baby like D'Artagnan or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Right?
You have any more babies? Oh Jesus!
Oh, no more babies. No more babies.
It's okay if you have no more babies.
No more babies. Oh, well, then that's good. That's good. Both of you all could just like sail off into the sunset together.
I know he got a boat, and I got the best place to put the boat in the Dominican. Middle of the ocean.
Oh.
4 times I was good until this big black something swam under me, and I'm like, okay, but I have fun.
And it wasn't a Dominican, right?
No, it was. I don't know what it was. It was
okay. Because last time I was in the water in the Dominican, it was a Dominican. So it was a Dominican.
This is a species of some sort.
Okay. Well, it was a species of some sort. Yeah. It actually had a credit card and could buy me drinks. So yeah.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well, we need to shift gears. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And here in the Chicagoland area, in the last 2 weeks, we have heard stories of domestic violence situations that have really gone wrong. And out of respect to the family, the victims, all of that, we're not necessarily talking about those particular stories. We're just talking about circumstances surrounding the story. And what we want to do is put more value on the life of our Black women. But a lot of times our Black women are making wrong choices in relationships, picking the wrong baby daddies, things like that. So I'm in hopes tonight of having a conversation on how do we stop these situations before they become violent or fatal or whatever the case may be. And so joining us tonight is one of my good friends, Miss Tara Stamps. And Tara and I have been talking pretty much over the weekend. These stories have moved her in many different ways, and she's an advocate and she wants to talk to people about, just, hey girl, stay alert, pay attention, don't do the wrong things. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show our good friend, Miss Tara Stamps. Hello, darling.
How are you? How are you all?
Good. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You look good, my dear. How you feel?
Thank you. Know what? I'm on a path to healing, and I'm gonna claim that and stay right there. And I hope that it's my sincere prayer that the conversation that we have tonight will just shine a light in dark places and perhaps illuminate a path that a sister is on, and letting her know, you can get off. You can't go so far down the wrong road that you can't turn around. And just, whatever I can do from my own lived experiences that might illuminate some of the behaviors that we are blowing past, these red flags in relationships that can sometimes be in somebody's life. And just this, I was talking to a couple of friends and just kind of sharing my story and trying to let them bring it to their remembrance. And before they could get to what I was talking about, it was like, oh, you mean this one? You mean this one? You mean? And it was so jarring that I had to sit back for a moment and think about how prevalent this is in our community. That we actually had to go through a Rolodex of victims in less than 2 weeks.
It's mind-boggling and it's heart-wrenching, because here's the deal. When these stories happen like this, you have to think about the people that know not only the victim, but know the person that committed the crime. And then if it's a situation where you all have been heavily involved, there are several stories that have happened in this city. And I've said, wait a minute, me and that person went to school together, or my God, me and that person know each other from church. And you just wonder what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like promising career, great guy. I would never say that about him, or I'd never say that about her, because we even have to think about the young lady who went to the cigar lounge. And you see what I'm saying? Everybody knows a connection to these type of stories, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. If I was to call you two ladies and say, look, girl, that fool you hanging out with, you need to watch his back, you'll stop talking to me before you will believe what I'm telling you about watching your back on that dude. Because you think I'm being a hater, or what are you talking about?
But you never know what though to the female, or just knowing the whole situation. It's really, really dicey, and just people today, they always thinking if someone's hating you, or it's just like a very fine line to even watch. But your girlfriends are gonna be your girlfriends, and they're gonna come up and tell you, hey, you need to slow down, or I heard this about the individuals. And I just watched people get in arguments just 2 weeks ago over some BS over, and dude ain't shit.
Right. Tara, what was you gonna say?
I was gonna say I don't want to marginalize that reaction, because what I think a lot of people miss, because they may not be in it, is that you miss the grooming that has taken place in the individual in that relationship before you even got to the point of saying he ain't this or that. Right. I know in my particular case, and I've shared this with you, Art, the only way that I can make anybody outside of this situation understand it is if you understand like vampires. And he would glamour me. And I felt glamored. And I mean, on True Blood, the vampire would look at their potential prey in such a way as to cause them to literally forget. Right. So it's not as simple as somebody hating on you. One sister in particular, and today I referred to her, I said, and thank you for being my eyes when I literally and figuratively could not see. And this sister in particular said, yo, I saw such and such here and it wasn't copacetic, and I saw such and such in a way. And my reaction to her was not like, I'm mad at you, but I was like, well, let's call a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even in addressing it that way, it was uncomfortable. It was, it's like, you ain't ready to leave them, so why are we even having this kind of come to Jesus moment about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that. Then you have your own embarrassment. You're tethered to the person, and you're also tethered to the people who love you, and then it's a battle of wheels. And but your heart and is caught up, and you really, I'm not gonna say you really, I'm gonna say Tara really, in the thick of things, just did not see it clearly enough, so that when I saw the red flags, I halted and turned around and did an about face. I saw the red flags and I justified the red flags because it was like being a dope fiend. Like, I was trying to get back to the high, right? Because when they impress upon you the intensity of their attention is so formidable, it like overwhelmed my senses. And they not only court you, they court everybody around you.
Wow.
As to disarm them.
Okay, so I have an expert here with us, Mr. Chuck Smooth. He's been a co-host here on the show before. He actually deals and works a lot in domestic violence victim situations. I wanted to find men to come on here tonight that would be able to help peel back some of these layers, but also offer advice. I don't want this to be a made fun of situation, but we as Black folks, we got to tell the truth about what we're facing. And one thing I love about Tara is she was like, all right, we got to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, my friend, Mr. Chuck Smooth. Hey, sir, how are you? Thank you for being there.
My brother, how you doing?
Good. So you've been in the green room listening to this. And you know what I love about both of these women, as these women were very honest with me. They've always been honest with me, and I do sympathize with these women. So that's why I wanted to bring two other men in to kind of give your take on this domestic violence situation. Chuck, kind of give us a little your background with the domestic violence and what you know, and then we'll get back to this conversation. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, first of all, thanks again, Art, for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you again. And, first, I'm digging the t-shirt that you're rocking. So
Thank you.
I appreciate that. So what I do, I am the National Education Director for the 12th Round Foundation. And what the 12th Round Foundation is dedicated to is creating conversations in and around about domestic violence awareness and sexual assault awareness. One thing that I do particularly is to try to create programs and discussions on college campuses to deal with people, young women and men of a college age, with a particular eye of engaging our young men about these issues. For the primary reason that, I listening to the conversations, and I can empathize and agree with a lot of what is said, but one thing that we really need to focus on, I think, is challenging and adjusting the behavior of the men who think that these things are okay, that they're normalized, that it's their right to treat women a certain way, or there's a assumption, and we have a lot of men where this behavior has been normalized. And it's because they saw dad or granddad or uncle do it, or maybe sometimes it happened to them, and so that's all they know. So one of the things that I am working towards is to challenging the notion of how men think about domestic violence, and to get them to re-examine their actions and what makes someone, particularly a man against a woman, but against anyone, what makes you want to abuse someone? What is it in your psyche, in your personality, that you think that's okay.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that I think we need to stress on, because I totally believe, women need to be aware, and they need to take care of themselves and understand certain red flags. But let's also deal with beforehand, because let's deal with these men who are giving off these red flags and why they're giving off, and challenging their thinking and their actions. And so those are the things that I work towards.
Okay, and thank you so much for that. But I'm gonna tell you, here's the deal of what I've observed. The red flags are always there, but we are very visual people. That body is tight, whether it's male or female. They got the good teeth. Oh Lord, did you see the car they drove up in? Did you see the magnitude, the charm? We from a young age, we are taught, put it out there, put it out there, and let's see what comes to you. And for so many women, they are attracted to that bad boy image. They're attracted to that dude that is okay.
Because like give you a background of my situation. The dude I dated, my daughter's father in college. Number one, he was to me he was a lame, but he made me laugh. Like to make me laugh and make me feel comfortable and break my
Wrong leg out.
feelings.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
I was really like digging him because he was just corny as I don't know what. But
Wait,
what
somebody got a TV on that's louder than us. Can we adjust that?
hands off.
Okay.
Let me.
Okay.
But I was saying that,
Can you mute it a little bit? Okay.
he
You.
wasn't the flashy dude, he drove like big boy Audi, whatever. It wasn't about all that. And during the relationship, I didn't know. This is one of the things that because I was young, I didn't date my father. My story is my father was a minister. My father is a minister. I have 7 brothers. So dating was like, oh, you like my sister, I'm gonna beat you up. So to go to college away from everybody, it was like, what? This is the world. Yeah, let's take it. So he was a square. I did not know his background history, that his dad used to beat his mom. So the things that he did to me, it was because, it was normal. The first time, like I said, the first time he hit me, I had to justify to my mom why I was in an emergency room with a dislocated shoulder. The second time, I had to like really break him down and ask him like, my daddy never hit my mom. Like my parents don't curse. Now my mama curse. She ain't curse my parents. So like what's really going on in your family life? Like, I took you to my home, to my parents, to everybody else. That second or third time, that third time he body slammed me, and guess what? Didn't know I was pregnant. I'm in the hospital with my college roommate, and she's watching now with Erica. And her boyfriend literally had to run outside with a gun to shoot him. We in an emergency room. The police come up to you and was like, hi, ma'am, would you like to press charges? Guess what I did not do? I didn't press charges because I'm like, you know what? He wants to be a teacher, and you can't be a teacher with a record. So I'm still thinking about his ass, not even thinking about me and my feelings, whatever. But after after that third time of being in the hospital and then finding out you're pregnant, like, okay, I'm good. So I made sure that I got a doggone gun when I was in Alabama. I did tell my brother, the one that's in a coma now, like, this is what happened to me, blah, 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 blah. And for my brother to tell me, no nigga should ever put their hands on you. And if they do, you shoot them. I was good. Like, we ain't got to worry about nothing else. It was one of those things that I was always fearful to talk about. But it wasn't because of the flashiness or anything there. You don't really know what a person really went through, and you're just sitting on that doggone college campus. You don't know about the individual background. I mean, I can tell people, oh, I'm a preacher's kid, and I'm this, and I got a whole bunch of brothers. But if you don't know what goes on in that person's house, then, that should just throughout the relationship. So it's not always about the flashiness or, showing money. Like, nigga, I already have my own money, so I didn't really need yours.
Tara, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to kind of back on that, because I've never been attracted to the bad boy type. That was never my thing. And this particular person, and I want to say not just him, because what I realized after After last week, I said, okay, we're going to take a deep dive into yourself, into me. And so I started looking at traits and qualities of different men that I dated, and which was similar and which was different. And for a couple of them with whom I had really serious relationships, there were some similarities. It was never really the presence of physical violence. And even this person now who committed this heinous crime, he was never ever violent to me, never violent, never even cursed me. He played a lot of mind games. It was a lot of emotional manipulation. It was a lot of like these very, very big highs, and then they bring you down on this low, because then now they got a whole nother situation going on. And that's why people would say, well, yeah, I said, no, I'm in a situationship, right? Because that's what it always felt like. It never felt like there was ever a safe place for me to land in that relationship, because it was just so much lies and so much dishonesty. But it was never like this bad boy, yeah, I'm a, thug nigga. It wasn't that at all. This person was extremely charming, charismatic, worked every day, had their own business, used their work car most of the time, was very articulate, very poet, loved the Lord, could talk you under the desk about a Bible verse. And I would say all the time, I ain't no biblical scholar, I just know the Lord, we cool. But knew scripture, chapter and verse. And so as I was talking to another girlfriend, I said, imagine, the church is full of these women, broken women. And the way that I see it, like what I started seeing the similarities. My son actually said it to me. I had never heard the term. And he said, Mama, trauma bonds are real. He wasn't even talking about me, I don't think, at the time. He was talking about like in general. And so then I went and started researching what a trauma bond is. And I said, oh my God, that's so aptly like described me in my daughter's dad, with this thing, with my children's father, like this constant like push and pull of wheels, and this constant like trying to find value, like trying to find your value in the relationship. So in your life, or in my life, I had this very big life. I'm very active in my sorority, very active in my union, very active teacher, very active mom. But in my personal life, I was making some other choices that questioned my value. And so I said, I wanted to go back. For me, what's important for me is to find the epicenter of that brokenness, because I feel like there are these men who are narcissistic, and the good doctor can speak to that. I don't want to kind of like go off into something that's too clinical, because that's not my expertise. But I do know there is a intersectionality of narcissism, sociopathic behavior, mental illness, and abuse, domestic abuse. And it's like all of those things are culminating together at some of these junctures. And then women who are trying to love these broken men, these hurting men, become the victim themselves. And so for me, again, getting back to the analogy of the vampire, I just feel like for Tara, he could just smell the blood in the water. And it was like he fed off of that. And so even though in the other part of my life, when a lot of life, like I give, it's light, and I'm, the life of the party, and I'm having a good time, and I'm up on stage speaking, and I'm doing all of these things where there's this very positive focus on me. I think whereas that person may have been attracted to that was also the thing they wanted to destroy.
Chris,
I couldn't be isolated because I had all of this stuff going on.
Okay, I get it. Now, Chris, I'm coming to you, brother to brother. You and I kind of talked earlier. I've been in some situations where I tell people I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I've had guys that try to provoke me. I've had guys say to me, come on, slap me, knock me down, do whatever, so I can tell people Chad Daddy whoop my ass. And I'm like, that ain't, first of all, you ain't in a relationship with Chat Daddy, you in a relationship with me. Secondly, I see where you're trying to go with this. And a lot of times guys we end up being provoked into situations. Chris, as a brother listening to all of this, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've personally experienced a couple of occasions where a woman that I was dealing with said, in the midst of a heated conversation, like, well, what do you want to do? Slap me? And I said, well, I haven't made any aggressive moves towards you. I didn't raise my hand. Why would you even say that? And it really freaked me out to hear them suggest that, oh, what are you about to do? Hit me? And I said, no, we're just we're arguing. We may raise our voices, but it was real eye opening to see that there are people that, in my situation, dating women, it was interesting to see that there are some women that would just push that button and just say, "Well, is that what you're about to do?" And it's really disturbing. And I have no idea what it's based on. Again, I'm not a psychologist by any stretch. But yeah, I've dated at least 3 women that made that comment, that and I actually, one of the young ladies tried to swing at me. She's trying to hit me, and I said, wait, what are we doing? We're arguing. You're trying to make this physical. This isn't physical. This is just a heated conversation. But I mean, I don't know where it stems from, but it's definitely a real thing. I think it's more prevalent than people know. Mm-hmm. And on both sides, I'm sure women are embarrassed for many different reasons to report it, but males in the same situation are. I'm sure it's the same thing. They're extremely embarrassed to try to report this, to their friends and to the authorities. So it's definitely a real thing, and we definitely need to have a conversation about it because it's way too prevalent. And I think that's one of the dark secrets. Unspoken things in our community.
Chuck, I was coming to you. I was go right ahead. Yeah. Yes.
And I just want to, I agree with what Chris has said. Chris and I have, had these conversations ad nauseum. We've had some similar experiences. The one thing that, it's not, I can say this for myself. I can say this for Chris and a number of people. For some of us, the thought of abusing a woman is foreign to us. That's the last thing that would come across our mind. But the reality is, and I know this is not the intention, but we're coming across a little bit as if we're trying to identify what things women can do differently to avoid being abused, as if somehow a woman has brought it upon themselves, or the abuser brings it upon themselves. And I know that's not the intention here, but a lot of times the focus of the conversation becomes, well, what about the choices that the women made, and yada, yada, yada. And I think that's fine and well to address at a certain point. But going back to what I said up front, we have to address, what is it that makes an abuser an abuser? What is it that makes a man, in part of what we're talking about, want to put his hands on someone? What drives that? Because I don't care what happens, however mad someone has ever made me in an argument, in a dispute, I've never been angry enough to want to put my hands on someone, to abuse them, or that. That's just not part of my psyche. And so part of me, it's hard for me to relate to that. But, on the other hand, it's, I remember my aunt, years and years ago, growing up down south, I remember her saying once that, because my uncle used to abuse my aunt. And she was like, oh, well, how do I know if he loved me if he didn't go upside my head every now and then? And me hearing this as a 7 or 8 year old kid, and normalize it. Thankfully, I never copied any of that behavior. But instead of focusing, and even at that time, instead of focusing on, wow, what did my aunt do to, piss my uncle off and cause him to go off, it was, what's wrong with my uncle that he wants to beat up on my aunt? And, that's the thing that I think we're missing. Yeah, we need to talk about how to protect women and empower women and get them to protect themselves and identify the signs. Absolutely. But at the same time, we need to be talking to men about why is it you think it's, why is it think it's your right to abuse a woman? Why is it you think violence is the answer? And those are the things that I think that's one of the things that I see gets lost in the conversation in examining that aspect.
And that conversation has to start happening early. I was sharing with Art.
I agree.
That I'm an elementary school teacher, and I see the beginnings of domestic violence all day long.
Right.
In elementary school, and I'm talking about from 3rd grade up. And I think the schools are ill-equipped to address it the way that it is. But somewhere in the conversation, in the rearing, and whether the boys are getting the message that it's okay to slap, hit, punch, pinch, call out their name, and the girls are getting the impression that behavior is allowable.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I've gone to, over the years, I've reported all kinds of things, but just recently where I am, and I work in a school that I love, actually, on the West Side, but I see some aggression in young boys that is terrifying.
Right.
That is terrifying. And yet, these teachers are in these situations. I watched a boy pick up a desk and throw it over the head of another child. I watched this same boy kick a girl. And when it's reported, you're telling me, or it gets told to the powers that be or whatever, we're going to write it up. He gets suspended, or he gets a slap on the hand, and he gets a day out of school, which is really like paid vacation, really.
Right.
So they get suspended. Nothing happens at home. There's no re-entry process. There's no counseling that's happened. There's no nothing that's happened. And so the message that gets reiterated is, this is allowed because ain't nobody gonna check me. And I'm just of the mind that anything that goes unchecked metastasizes. It becomes a cancer. And so when these things start young, and we see them in young boys or in young girls, I mean, there's some vicious little girls.
Yes, it is.
True. Very true.
And I've seen young girls slap slob from boys and girls alike. And I know I've said to some girls, I said, I don't believe in nobody putting their hands on anybody, because I got 2 boys at home who I know if they came and told me you slapped them across their face like that, it's going to be problems in the land.
Right.
Now, what I'm not saying is I'm going to condone them, but you don't have the right to put your hands on another person. And so there's an education that needs to happen way in elementary schools, probably going as far down as kindergarten, 1st grade.
To your point, I worked in a Head Start for several years, and I saw this behavior manifested in Head Start. And Head Start is age 3 to 5, and I saw elements of that as young as that age. But I think Tara, Sister Tara, you hit on a great point. There's no counseling, there's no addressing, there's no taking these kids and getting them the type of help to what's going on with them. And moreover, again, what are they seeing at home? What examples are being the problem is domestic violence. And I think one of the reasons it's so, and I hate to say it's so normal, but it's prevalent, but we've normalized it in our society. We have made it to, just as the sister just said, you get a slap on the wrist and then you come back, but there's no real addressing of the issue. There's no real counseling. There's no real psychological examination. And even if you just do the kid, if as much as you counsel a kid to tell him no, but if he goes home every day and sees daddy going against mama's head every day, then
Yep.
what is he going to
Can't
think?
undo that. Yeah.
You can't undo that. And we make a big thing about not having nudity. Our children can't see nudity unless they're 17 or older, but they can see somebody getting killed and beat up at the age of 9 or 10.
Right,
So
right.
our priorities are completely mixed up.
I know of a situation real quick where a friend of mine's had a son, and the young man was a nice looking young man, but they used to always tell him how fine he was. Boy, when you get old, you're going to be so fine. But here's the deal. Educationally challenged was always a problem for the school. Tara, this is one of them stories you talking about. And he has gone through his entire life based off the fact that he fine. Everybody done told him he fine. And now, of course, a bunch of children, a bunch of restraining orders, and a bunch of child support. And he has never become anything other than this dude that's fine and hustling on the streets. And we've had a whole generation of young people who are like that. They take their looks and do what they need to do versus brains and knowledge and savoir faire of learning the world and things like that. Yeah.
They want to grow all the time too.
But
I know. Wait, Tara, and then go ahead, Ty.
That's systemic.
Right.
I mean, from movie stars to rap artists to whoever you want to put it on, right? And it's cross-cultural. We place a value on looks. We don't place value on character. We don't place value on education. I mean, not enough, right? So the same kids that I'm talking about in my building, more often than not, are attractive little boys that are perpetrating these heinous things in this building. But another big part of where it could at least be addressed in education, and it's not, because we don't want to put the money.
Oh, there you go.
We don't want to put the money.
There you go. There it is.
In the because the money is not in the cure. The money is in the disease.
Yep.
And so we got these. We done rolled out all of these social emotional learning initiatives, right? But if you're not dealing with trauma, if you're not dealing with sexual molestation, if you're not dealing with violence in the household, no matter who's perpetrating the violence, I got at my school, it's a lot of same-sex situations. They violent as hell.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Like, like mama, daddy, like mama.
Right.
Is violent.
And I think the other thing that you're the other implied thing is that these issues, let's be real, if they were being addressed in the suburbs, different situation. On the south side or west side of Chicago, where it's, all the folks look like us, not getting as much attention. So that's another problem of where the money is not being spent, because, we like to say Black Lives Matter, but we all know in some areas Black lives don't matter as much.
A lot of Black situations.
So what I'm getting from this is that we really do need to train our young people at an early age, respect, dignity, just don't be so aggressive. Because Tara, I'm with you 100%. I've seen it myself too. I've witnessed it. What more can we do as humans to curb some of this domestic violence? Because every one of these stories, somebody, dang, I ain't no dude was like that, or wow, that's a powerful person, or he was the life of the party. I had at least 7 people inbox me about both of these particular stories that have happened in Chicago, and what they inboxed me, it all was the same thing. And these were women and men of different walks of life, of what they knew about either the victim or the suspect,
Well, and I think one of the things I think that where we begin, and one thing that I work on people is that we as men, and I'm coming straight from a male perspective, is we need to stand up and be more verbal and be more demonstrative that these types of things. Don't make jokes about domestic violence. Don't
Right.
joke, don't even joke about some of this stuff because it's not funny and it normalizes some of the things. And when you see your friends being willing to stand up to your friends that are involved, or you may suspect and be like, dude, that ain't right. Or if it's a sister doing it, that's not right. Being willing to speak up against those who are committing this act and getting more people involved in the conversation. And I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to encourage more men to be more vocal about, speaking out against it, not just in seminars and workshops, but in regular conversations on social media, among friends. I mean, when I'm at my frat house and we're talking about certain things and certain jokes like that come up, I'm ready to shut it down, because the more we normalize it, the more our next generation is in danger. And I think, for me, that's one of the things that I think at least we as men, again, strictly from a male perspective, what we can begin to do to address it.
Ladies, anybody, any rebuttal? Chris, any rebuttal?
No, I mean, Chuck hit the nail on the head. No, go ahead, TT.
I know. I was like, I really don't have a rebuttal for it. I agree with Tara. I agree with Chuck. Working with CPS and knowing that, how they push sex education so much. And when I saw the curriculum, I'm like, kindergarten? They got to know about it in kindergarten? Well, when you think about what's been going on and recently that happened in CPS where a girl was sexually molested while on a Zoom.
That's
these things be hitting you in spot.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost you. Oh, it's hitting us. It's all around, and it's been going on in these houses and these homes for decades. We need to really address the situation, make people, and I mean, I take it to a church level. We got to talk about it in the pulpits. Talk to it about in your authorities. People will be surprised when individuals come out and tell you what they've been through. And a lot of people, hell, it was me for years. I didn't talk about what happened to me. I mean, if you were not in that house when it happened, you didn't know about it. And I kept it quiet and secret forever because Criteria Towns was in an abusive relationship, not that girl. I mean, but then when I started to break down those barriers and was like, okay, you got to get the mirror. Get the mirror here. Like, you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, you got to be honest with yourself. People got to start being honest with themselves about the situation.
And
what she just said was so critical, because it's important that the TTs and the Tyra Stamps say this, because I don't know what we think the victim looks like. Right? Yeah. And so when I was talking to Art, I said, well, Art, I want to come in because it's necessary to shine a light in dark places.
Right.
That you can be this person. You can be this person in your work life, in your church life, and all of these life, and still be a victim in your domestic partnership. Whether you're a emotional victim of physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, because not only does the victim have different faces, the type of victimization is different.
Right.
My what I experienced is very different from what the outcome of the situation that I'm aware of. Very different from the outcome. One of the sisters that actually, she and I dated the same person, reached out to me privately, and she shared some of what her relationship was like with him. That wasn't my relationship either. And so I think the abusers kind of morph and change their strategies depending on who they with. Because what made me say, okay, this ain't nothing I'm trying to be a part of, had nothing to do with being cursed out, being hit, punched. It was the psychological warfare that was going on. It was that I was involved in something that was taking the me out of me. And I knew that it was I said, this is an ungodly soul tie I am operating.
I said, he was the devil.
Because
the devil.
I'm not taking the best care of myself. And when I was noticing that I was not taking the best care of myself, And then I was looking at the things that I was allowing, that if my daughter had told me she was allowing that, I would have been like, I would have lost my mind and probably packed the pistol, right? Like, you know, but you let him say what? You let him get away with what? So I'm just saying, like, I know for me, that's why I have such empathy and compassion for the victims that I've seen, like the victims who have lost their lives at the hands of these murderers, these people, because there is something that's so haunting to me about the isolation and this person trying to make you become your everything, become your everything. And I remember so distinctly in my head when that person was trying to make me be that. The only reason, and I believe this, was A, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, but B, because my life was so busy and I had so many people around me all the time. And I know that from other people that I've talked to, other victims, I've been talking to sisters who have been victims of domestic violence all week. And one of the things that keeps coming up is this sense of isolation, this sense of separating you away from the people who are important to you. And even when TT was talking, she was saying, no, I made sure that stayed in the house with just us. I wasn't going to let the people I know that this was going on. So there's even this part of where you don't want people to know because you're ashamed, because you got this big image to everybody else. And so you can't admit that this dude has played you. You can't admit that this dude might have put his hands on you. You can't admit. So that's why for me, and I respect what Brother Smoot has said, and I love the ownership and accountability that he's putting on me, and I'm so grateful to hear that. But I know for me, I had to do a deep dive into Tara, because the same way you get picked you get picked for a reason, right? They like lock on you for a particular reason. And if it were not for the fact that I've seen these qualities in different people manifest themselves in different people over years, I would just say, okay, it ain't had nothing to do with me. But something did, and I want to know what that is. And that's why when I talked to you, Art, I wanted to be fully transparent and own my stuff, because there is some accountability that we have to have to ourselves. We do got to run the background check. We do got to check out their friends and family. We do got to investigate these things a little closer. We cannot leave people alone with our children. We got to have the strength to say no, or I'm uncomfortable, and be able to stand flat-footed in that, or take a seat back. We do, like, there are some other precautions, and as much as there's accountability on men, when it comes to your life, you are the person responsible for you. And not everybody needs to have access to you. Not everybody gets to be with you. And we got to get to a place where we're good, and we feeling good enough in our own bodies to say that. Like my best friend told my goddaughter, don't like him because he like you. That's insecurities manifested. I was like, damn. Was I liking somebody because they realized that's what I was doing? Yes, that happened. Why? Because when they locked on me, I wasn't even attracted to him. It was like somebody else poured the person on me. Like, how you gonna let this good thing go? He looked like this, and he buying you all of that, and he got all of these trappings, and that's exactly what they are. Trappings. So we just got to be we just got to be far more protective of who we are, and we got to love ourselves enough that we just don't let everybody have access to who we are.
I love it.
If I can piggyback on what your guest said earlier about the card campaign to show support, this issue, and like Brother Chuck and I talked about earlier, these things, along with pedophilia and other dark secrets in the Black community, are common. You're right. They say pedophilia has happened to 90 to 95% of all Black children. So to say that it doesn't exist is ridiculous. And I think it's the same way with domestic violence. And like Tara was saying, it's not always physical. You know, my mother said some really crude stuff to me growing up, so it was psychological. I mean, she whipped me, but that's not what I remember. You know, that's not what I had to go to therapy for. Was not for the whipping. So, like Tara was saying, it comes in many different forms. And while everybody is scared and feeling vulnerable and doesn't want to admit to it, to realize that it's I don't know the numbers. I wouldn't even guess to what they are about domestic violence, but they're probably higher than we think on some level.
Yeah.
And there's a very good book called The Deepest Well that talks about an ACE score, that talks about childhood trauma. And they say even rich kids to poor kids have at least a 3 out of 5 for trauma. So it has nothing to do with social economic conditions. So we all need to understand that, you know what? The people that you're worried about looking weak or vulnerable to, they're probably going through it too. And when you speaking up, it won't be as traumatic as you think for yourself, because there's a bunch of people around you. As a community, we really need to start sharing these experiences to get people to come out. And Tara, much love to your courage to speak your story. I'm sure there's a lot of women that have come out and said something because of what you started. What's up, Chuck?
Well, just with that, I think, Chris, you talk numbers. You look at when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to couple, in between couples. So 1 in 3 women in the country have been the victim of some sort of domestic or sexual violence. This is a stat put out by the National Domestic Violence Hotline. 1 in 6 men have been the victim of domestic or sexual violence. So when you just look at those numbers, 1/3 of all women have been, and that's probably, and let's remember, that's of reported cases. I think one of the things, TT, you were saying something, it just struck in my head. One thing we also have to do is we have to stop penalizing and ostracizing people for speaking out about their abuse. Whenever you speak out about it, that was the time for you to speak out about it. Instead of, oh, well, you should have said it X amount of years ago, or you should have done this. We blame people for not speaking when we want them to, when the reality is people speak and tell their stories when they're
ready to.
And when they're ready to. And we need to honor and respect that process and not penalize, whether it's men or women, when they do come out and tell their truth. Their truth is their truth to tell in their time, not ours.
I agree with you, Ellen, and I literally feel like after today, I'm gonna have to call my therapist, because I'm saying this because just hearing the stories, it's other things that's been opening up in my head. Being molested when I went to a babysitter house because my parents worked. My father's a Cook County sheriff. My mother worked in Naperville, wherever else she worked at. And this person was supposed to babysit me and did things to me as a kid. And little things it's weird how it pops up in your head and you feel like you have buried it and meant onto it and everything. Yeah. I always look at, the things that don't kill me make me stronger. Thank God for rap, because I think rap just saved half my life half the time whenever I'm going through something. But I really do feel like I need to call someone and tell them, okay, let's start from the beginning, from the age of 6 and work our way up to 45. Because it's a lot of things that I Tara, you said, some of the things that we go through, it shapes and form us who we are now. I look at the exterior. Oh shit, I'm solid. I'm made of Teflon. Inside, oh my God, I swear, I'm just trying to hold back because I don't want to sit and cry. But it's gonna be a long emotional night. I can feel it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I think this goes back to what we talked about earlier about that COVID, people sitting at home with their thoughts, and that's not always a comfortable place to be.
No, but you got to create spaces for people to tell their truth, which I think is what Brother Smoot was saying. But
Right.
there's a line when you said that, TT. There was a line in the poem for Color Girls that says, "I'm dancing on beer cans and shingles,
Oh shit, I'm dancing
on broken glass."
right, broken
And
glass all day.
like, that is the dance that many Black women are doing on a regular basis, right? As we just negotiate these snares in the road of our life. But I want us to I always want to be the sister that's adjusting another sister's crown.
Mhm.
I always want to be the sister that's open to having my crown adjusted. I
Mm-hmm.
always want to be the sister that creates a safe space to land. Just a safe space to land. Just to exhale so you can get the strength to
Mm-hmm.
just live for another day.
Mm-hmm.
I had many people know me a lot, and Art can attest to this, like, cause I do a whole lot of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I put up 3 very telling posts. Like, if you know me, you would have been like, what the hell is going on with Tara? But it was like people saw it
Mm-hmm.
and didn't see it. It was weird. And it wasn't until today I put up a post that said, I feel like I'm living through a very terrible Lifetime movie. Down to the
Mm-hmm.
part where people are talking about and around you and don't have the decency or the compassion to pick up the phone and say, sis, how are you doing? When
Mm-hmm.
I did that, then all of a sudden, all of these
Budget.
calls started coming in like, sis, I'm sorry. Did I miss some? Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I love you. I'm here for you. You know, I love you. And I love them all. God bless them. Yay. But this is what I took from that. People are trying to tell us stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are we open to receiving the message that they are sending?
No,
Right.
and most of us ignore it. We blow past
Well, you know
it.
what? A lot of us feel, and this is what I was saying a minute ago. A lot of us feel that you won't understand what I'm going through, and that's
Mm-hmm.
sister to sister, brother to brother, brother to sister. Because I've had some conversations about, like I spoke on a moment ago about child molestation and this and that. And through my research, I found that about 90 to 95% of Black children are molested. So I was talking to my girl, and she was talking about her experiences, and I'm like, yeah, I got an experience too. And she said, really? And I'm like, yeah, we all have been through this. So across our community, we need to understand that, we've all had a personal or once removed experience with domestic violence, with pedophilia, with this and that. So we really need to get away from a woman to a man. You don't understand what I've been through. From a man to a woman, brother to brother, woman to woman. We got to understand that this is our community, and this is prevalent in our community. So don't think that the next person that you reach out to won't understand. Number one, they're your friend, but number two, odds are they are very familiar with it. If not firsthand, they're once removed from it. So I think to change the culture of our community, we need to start reaching out to the people around us and say, hey, there's some things going on, and I think we'll be shocked to hear me too. Yep, me too. It happened to me in a different way, but yeah, this affected me. I think we really need to, like Chuck was saying earlier, we've normalized accepting it. We need to start normalizing the fact that it is a reality in our community, and we can feel comfortable in our community with our friends to admit what's going on. And I think we'll find a lot of love there and a lot of support from people who don't have to empathize. They've been through it too, so they know right where you are. So
and stop protecting them when they get found out.
Exactly.
Yes.
We really just got to shine a light in dark places. We got to name names.
Call a monster a monster. Call a thing a thing.
The devil.
We got to call a thing a thing. And wherever that thing occurs, I think the one thing that Brother Christopher said that I don't want to be lost in this conversation as you begin to wrap up, because what you may have heard me say is that I said, I'm taking a deep dive into me, and I'm trying to get to the epicenter of this break. And he said, my mother said terrible things to me. I got whoopings, but that ain't what I remember. And when I was in the kitchen saying to my nephew, I got to find the epicenter of this break. I don't know if my mama caused it or not, but everybody's going to be held to account in this conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think that, like,
Mm-hmm.
I know my mom was an amazing person, and she was, and I ain't gonna say nothing against it. But I am gonna say there's some things that take place in our households very, very young, whether they're the things that are being said to us or the things that are being done to us, that by the time we
Mm-hmm.
get released to the world, because our families, the same people who are causing the damage, are not finding the cure. They're not trying to get you in counseling. They're not trying to make sure you're okay. So when you leave your mama's house, you leave it in tatters, taking that out
Yeah.
into the world,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know a family
Mm-hmm.
member that did something quite heinous to their own child, right? And I'm like, how do you do? Okay, that's a break. That's a
Yeah.
trauma bond.
And somehow
That's
they justify that.
and then you
Somewhere, if you
justify
ask them, they wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, we did that and we don't care." They will say, "Oh well, they didn't make their bed up." You know, they will come up with a reason to justify it, and that's what makes it so crazy that people
Mm-hmm.
can find the wildest. Me and Chuck just talked about this today.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For
People
people
will
that's
find a
that's
way
abused.
to justify the worst things in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't say it enough. We need to create. This might not be the right phrase, but a safe space for people to admit what they've been through, and
Mm-hmm.
also people who are driven to do this. Because I mean, you think about it. If you were abused as a child and then you grow up, you know it's wrong because you hide it, but then you still go do it, even though when you went through it, you knew it was bad,
Mm-hmm.
and you're hiding it from the world because you know it's not right, but you're still driven to do it. You know what? That we need to create a space where we can get this out in the open because there's some people that are crying for help and we don't get it. I mean, you look at, if you bring it up, the R. Kelly situation from his first album, you look at the lyrics, he was crying for help.
Mm-hmm.
He was not hiding this.
Mm,
He had an image, but no one really paid attention to it for whatever reason. I'm not even gonna hypothesize why, but we really need to get this out in the open. Like Carl was saying, we need to get this out in the open to hold the abusers accountable and tell the abused that okay, well, don't be embarrassed because out of 10
Come
people, probably
forward.
9 of them can understand you and sit in your
Mm-hmm.
position. So,
and there's no
Mm-hmm.
judgment. I think that's the other part. I know that for me, I was doing it to myself. Like, I was judging
Right,
me.
you
I
put
was,
yourself.
I was like, how did you let this happen? It was a lot of, like, I've been going through a storm of emotions, from guilt to shame to questioning my
right.
own judgment.
Tara, did you think if you came out and was honest about it, you'd be ostracized, or people would,
I,
point fingers, or
I
it
don't
would
know
just be a
about
negative reaction? Is that
I,
what you thought?
I don't know about ostracized, but a judgment, right?
Hmm.
Like that kind of, yeah, but she thought she was all that, and that nigga, that kind of
Right.
not
Mm-hmm.
welcoming, not that thing, right? Like, yeah, it's been a real trip, and I know that it's a long road ahead. I'm just willing to go the road because I know on the other side of it is freedom. I know on
Mm-hmm.
the other side of it, I'm feeling like the Jews, and there's no more. Like this never
Mm-hmm.
again. Like
So
that's
Tara,
like
now that you put your story out there, have you noticed that your fears were justified or unjustified?
um to a large degree, not just not
Not justified, right? You thought
right.
it was gonna be worse than what it
It-
was. You got much more love.
to a large degree, and that's
Yeah,
why
you got much more love than you thought you would.
yeah, that's why, like I was saying last week, when when it was like a lot of it was going on, I was like, I'm not blaming anybody, but nobody, like, don't they, I said this thing, nobody's checking. And I kept thinking, like, well, maybe they don't know, but like, people don't know how to react either. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to create space for grace for everybody.
Yeah.
Starting with
Isn't
Mm-hmm.
me.
that amazing? You got to make people feel comfortable to comfort you.
And then I had to
You know what?
create
Do you think that's
space,
because they've been through it too, and they really don't know how
probably.
to respond? Yeah.
It's just that I don't know their
You know,
story,
we
right?
talk
And I
about it,
cannot
right?
decide why they did or did not react the way I had no right to be in my own mind deciding how they should be reacting.
Right.
But I think the problem that you just, and here comes the dichotomy, based on what you just said, is that we say, it's that old joke. I forgot who did it. We all, us black folks, would love to say, oh, if I was back during slavery times, I would have done XYZ to massa.
Did exactly what the other slave did.
We don't
Right.
know. And so
Pick
one of
that
the
damn
things I
cotton.
see people saying is, oh, well, if I was in that person's shoes, I would have done this, I would have done that.
Right.
No, we don't know. And that's one of those, I think that's one of those judgments, Sister Tara, that you were talking about that we
Yeah.
need to remove,
Yeah.
because that in itself is a judgment. And instead of saying, oh, well, you know, this is what someone ought to done, should have done, or if that was me, I would have, you know, we need to get rid of that and just listen to people and hear them, you know, and really, and that's it. Listen and hear.
Mhm.
Brother Smoot, I reached out to some people who I trusted, like to tell them, because they knew this brother.
Mhm.
And I didn't want it. I just felt like I needed to tell them, like, let me just tell you this happened.
Mhm.
And after I laid it out, one person who I felt like I've had a friend with this, I've had a friend with this person for like 25 years. And I said, listen, this thing happened. And you know, dude, I was talking all of this. And so I laid it out. I said, but listen. So first I sent the text and then they called me. And then we kind of talked through it. And then I said, they texted and said, well, how you doing? I said, I'm fragile. I feel real raw. I feel exposed. I got a storm of emotions going through me right now. And I don't really know how I feel from one moment to the next, to be very honest with you. But emotionally, I'm kind of effed up.
Mhm.
And then they called and said, why are you internalizing this? I said, you know what?
I don't know what I'm going through.
I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, because they didn't know how to
Because I was
sympathize with you. Right.
like if I didn't already say my prelude to what I was like, I'm fragile. I'm emotionally effed up right now. It ain't even been a full week. And I'm just getting hit with all of this and this and this. And then because what happens is, and TT, you might be able to relate. And well, all of y'all might be related. The thing happens, right? And then it's the collateral fallout of what happened. So now you've lived through it. And then you keep some other layer gets pulled back. And you get smacked upside the head with some other fact that you didn't know and eluded you and dulled your senses. And you're like, what the fuck? And so I'm very protective of me, like right now in this space. So the moment that I don't think a person is going to be able to give me what I think I need, then I'm like, I got to shut you off, because I'm really in this place where I got to protect me. I got to protect my righteous mind. I just got to. And like, if you don't have enough compassion or sense or whatever it is to say, I can't imagine what you're feeling right now, but I'm going to listen if you need to vent, or I'm going to make you a pot of soup and just drop it off at the house. Like, that's the most I got, because I don't know what to do with this. Then just don't say anything. Because quite honestly, I know, like, for my space and probably for yours, CT, and probably for yours, it wasn't nothing anybody could do at that point. No way.
His frat brothers, they were the ones that were, that's what always bothered me. Like, they were the ones that probably were the most supportive people, because I have no idea what he did beforehand, but like, that was my protective bubble space. Because damn, I was really fucked up back then. I mean, I'm thinking about the shit now in my head.
Any man that does not want to see this happen is going to be a man that's going to step up and say something and try to help as much as they most possibly can. Now, let me say this to you guys. This conversation has been so powerful. I've received so many text messages tonight, just from the honesty, just from the respect of just the conversation that's been had here tonight. And a lot of people said this is a safe place. And I appreciate you guys having this conversation tonight. This is not an easy conversation. Everybody's gonna probably need to have everybody gonna need to have a drink after this, but we need to continue this type of dialogue just to break these barriers, just to break these cycles. And so, we've been on here now well over an hour discussing this. What I want to do is figure out how we do a part 2 of this. Tara, I see some things that you really do need some nurturing and love, and you digging deep into your soul. I'm actually thinking of something now, and I'm gonna talk to you about it. TT, just even from talking to you, I've seen how you've just changed you know, you right. From you being rah rah rah, I now see a humble young lady that is damaged and needs to move to a different realm. Chris, you and I have talked about so many things, brother, from my situations to yours to everything. And Smooth, I appreciate you for just adding the help in there that we need. I need closing thoughts from each of you, if I could. Whatever encouragement you want to leave. Also, make sure you tell everybody to vote. But Tara, I'm gonna come to you and let you give your closing thought first, because I really do think you told me the world needs to know to shine that light. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate the platform. I also appreciate the sense in which we've had this conversation, because I didn't know where it would go. I didn't know how far. And I was just praying, Lord, to just use my, like, guide my thoughts. The first thing I want to say is that my heart goes out to the women, all women who have lost their lives at the hands of domestic violence, to men and children who have lost their lives to domestic violence, and specifically to the two sisters this week or last week, this month. So sad. That we know intimately connected through an unrighteous bond. That my heart goes out to that family. I'm haunted by it, and I'm praying for them constantly. But if I could say anything, I just want to reiterate what I said to you earlier, which was, know this: the vampire can only come in when invited. That's all folklore, consistent in any vampire folklore. They only come in when invited. They feed on blood. They're attracted to your light because they cannot have it. Um, they see your vulnerability. They see your essence. Do not be afraid or ashamed to run the background check. Ask the questions. There's a brother that I love, a pastor named R.C. Blakes. If you're not familiar with them, get familiar with them. I love him. But he said, use the dates to gather data.
Yep. And
Use
if they
the
don't add up, it don't make sense. Yep.
To gather the data. And when your 1 + 1 = 3, and you know that math is bad, have the fortitude to exit stage right. And what gives us the fortitude is, don't stop having premature relations, intimate relations with people you don't know well enough to be having these intimate relations. Because what happens is, I'm calling it a trauma bond. That's Tara's language. But then when you go into these relationships with an existing trauma bond that you ain't been healed from, and then on top of that, you create a soul tie, you done doubled your trouble. Because now you've been glamored for real. And what you even know in your common sense, you can't act on in your physical sense, because now you're attached to this person through this intimacy. And you've been groomed, you've been conditioned, and you've been groomed. And people don't realize that's like, well, girl, why won't you leave? Why can't you stay? You have been groomed. The vampire never just seeks a victim. On any vampire movie you watch, they never grab a victim unwittingly off the street and just bite them. They invite them into their home. They treat them nice. They're charming. They always got money. They get all of the social graces. And once you have been disarmed, is when they go in to make you one of their own. And that's what I want to say. So be guarded, be protected, and go into these relationships. Sometimes I know we do for our children, and we do for other people that we love, that we don't do for ourselves. And we summon strength, because that's what happened with me. My son said, I don't know about him, but he makes me icky. I think he's icky. I said, but he's never cursed. He said, I don't care. He's icky. Sums up. And that, my son's strong feeling about it, is what made me start departing. Listen to your children. They have sense. They can sense danger. Stop thinking that your kids just trying to be in your, they can sense danger. Listen to your kids. And I mean, there's so much else I would say. I don't want to hog the time, but this is the other thing. God gives us an alarm. It's internal. It's in us. when you were a little girl and they said hug Uncle Jimmy, you was like, I don't like Uncle Jimmy. Your mama said, well, hug him. And girl, that's your uncle. She was short-circuiting your internal alarm that God put in you to say, warning, danger. Stop short-circuiting children's alarms and stop short-circuiting yours.
Yes, amen. All right, Sister TT, real quick, your closing thoughts tonight.
I really don't have any closing thoughts. Oh God, this has been a emotional day for me, and I am not the emotional person. As I said, I know I need therapy. I have been conditioned and groomed to protect my peace and to always, whatever happens to you, keep it under wraps. And today is one of those days that it's already out there. So I really don't have any words of wisdom for people today. All I can tell anybody, if you're in something and you feel like you can't get out, there are hotlines and numbers that you can call.
Mm-hmm.
You can always have a girlfriend, boyfriend, someone that, brother, sister, just be honest and don't be ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Today brought up, I knew I had the emotions there, but they were always, told you I put some men on top of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the jackhammer today that opened up a lot of things that I just didn't feel. I didn't think I thought I was ready to talk about it, but apparently I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's what therapy is for. So I got a job that pays for 3 therapy sessions. I guess I'll be calling somebody tomorrow. Check on me on the 3rd session.
I love you. I do. I love you.
We are
Brother Chris, go right ahead. I'm gonna get your thoughts real quick.
Good for you. You know, if it never comes out, you never address it. And if you bury it, it's gonna come to the surface and you don't want it to. So the quicker that you know that it's still in there, the quicker you can deal with it. Because let me let you know, I went to therapy when I was about 42, 43, and it was the best thing that ever happened because I knew I was jacked up. I knew I had problems. And where I thought I was, I'm not gonna say I wasn't close, but there was a lot that I just never saw it. If I didn't go to therapy, I wouldn't have been able to move forward. And I think we've all been through things. You know, psychology says your personality is developed at 5 years old. And like Chuck was saying, when he worked at the Head Start program, he saw kids 3 to 5. You know, by the time kids get to kindergarten at 5 years old or first grade at 6 years old, it's already there, right? So you figure if you've had issues since you were 3, if you're 25, 35, 45, 55, you got years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Onion needs to be peeled back. Because we all believe we are who we are. When I went to therapy, it was so much stuff buried. Some of the stuff that I did not consciously think about that had shaped how I interact with women because of my mother. And had I not gone to therapy, I would have had no idea. A lot of stuff I did to protect myself. A lot of stuff I was doing to lash out when I saw those traits. Mm-hmm. So that's what I said. TT, feel good that it's coming to the surface that you're going to get pushed because you're going to be such a better person afterwards. Because instead of burying these things, it's hard to hold it underwater, right? It's hard to try to drown it because it's not going to die. It's just going to be there. It's going to be bubbling up. And it takes so much energy to hold it down. And when you can get to a point where you can address it and let that balloon fly away and say, okay, I've dealt with it. It's going to make you, you feel so free. Number one, because you've addressed it and you said it out loud, which you never said. Number two, it's not something that you have to hide. And even though it's subconscious, that's taken a lot out of you to hide what you went through or how it affected you. Because we can all say, well, I've been damaged, but we hate to really look in the face of the damage to accept what that damage turned us into, because it all turns us into something, right?
Yep.
That's usually not pretty.
Yeah.
And the sooner that you address what you've been turned into, and more importantly, how you got turned into it, then you can start addressing that. And a lot of the choices that we make with people that we choose to be with will start to be different, because there are different types of men and women out here.
Mm-hmm.
And when people talk about that pattern, I keep choosing this type of guy, I keep choosing this type of woman, there's a reason for that. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know why you keep making these choices. And like Teddy Pendergrass said, you can't hide from yourself. So in every horrible relationship, we have to understand that we made the choice to get with this person. And there's some psychology, right? The science says that we keep choosing this for a reason. I'm not victim blaming, but like Tara was said, we gotta make better decisions. We have to vet people, right? We all feel that we're valuable, but we really don't make anyone fight to get access to it, true access, right? Because you get somebody you think is good, and it's like, okay, I can share my intimate personality with a person that you haven't vetted yet. So, and the biggest thing, usually people who are alike, birds of a feather flock together. So I think it's extremely important to get to know someone's friends. You'll get a real deep insight into who they are as a person. So since Chuck and Art are very good friends of mine, you know how demented and twisted I am, because these are the people I choose to associate with.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
Oh my goodness.
So we got
really not myself,
right. That's a whole nother show.
It's Chat Daddy and Art and Chuck that have done this to me. I was perfectly fine till I met.
My goodness.
Right. That's a whole nother show.
Oh my goodness.
But a warning for ladies, when you get to know your fella, if he has a bunch of lames and questionable people around him, guess what? Your dude, is probably attached to that. If he got some good guys around him, there's a chance. But if the numbers hold up and 70 to 80 to 90% of people have been through things, then that means potentially everybody you run into. There's not enough background checks you can do, because somebody may be dealing with something that's subconscious that they've never really addressed. So they could have something in there that they don't even know is there. So you would never see the signs, of what really lies beneath. So, like Tara said, do your investigation, because there's some easy low-hanging fruit, right, that you can eliminate, the obvious people. But, as you get to know somebody, especially dating over 35, 40, 45, there's a lot of trauma, right? That's half your life. And all the things, ex-lovers, mom, childhood issues, there's a lot of things that have gone on that need to be addressed. So when you get with somebody, I would say over 35, 40 is, and I think that's a valid question, is you're getting to know somebody. It's like, hey, have you ever been to therapy? Have you ever, just dove into your own head and seen what's going on? And somebody that hasn't, I wouldn't call it necessarily a red flag, but it truly is a person that could have some issues that they're not even aware of.
Yes. Amen. Chuck, real quick, wrap it all up with a bow. Let's get this going.
I'm not going to be a typical preacher at this moment, Art. I ain't going to take all night, first of all, Art, first of all, I do want to thank you for spearheading this conversation, and once again, addressing this. We need more people like yourself willing to engage these conversations. To the two sisters on the panel, thank you for sharing your truth and your reality. And I can say I got something out of listening to your stories, and just be encouraged. Chris, my brother, you know how it is, and I think the reality is you've done more corrupting of me than I have you. That being said, this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I do want to encourage people who are in a difficult situation, whether you are man or woman, to the National Domestic Hotline is always available. You can find them online. I am not affiliated with them, but I do respect the work that they do. You can go to their website, look them up. They have a phone number that you can call. They're completely confidential. They provide good areas of access for people who are in need. And really, the last thing I can say is, people just be encouraged. The more we shine a light on these things, the more we talk about it amongst ourselves and with each other, the stronger we all will become. And the reality is that, we, the best people to combat this problem is ourselves. Um, Encourage your friends and neighbors to stand up, to speak out when appropriate, but just learn to support, lend a ear, and just learn how to listen if someone needs to share their truth with you. And lastly, I will just say, for men, remember, it is not our job. We are not entitled to put our hands on anyone, to abuse anyone. That's not what God put us here for. That's certainly not what God put me here for. So just remember, do you want someone treating your mother, your sister, your daughter the same way you treat a woman if you're in that situation? Again,
Yes.
Art, thank you so much, and thank everybody.
Yes. I want to say to all of you all, God bless you. I appreciate you so much. This segment was something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. Just seeing all these stories of domestic violence in our community, people that we know personally or have met in passing. I just think there's something we can do. Tara, I really appreciate you taking it back to just even preschool and elementary school and talking about the warning signs and the danger. TT, I love you so very much. Just just watching your emotions change this evening, and knowing that you're not alone. There are so many women like you and Tara, and even men who have been through this situation,
That's right.
that you guys are just really the essence of the truth. And I pray for nothing but just peace, happiness, and comfort in both of your lives. And here's the deal: you got three brothers right here on
Sure
this
do.
screen that if you women ever need. Yep, and that's the connection in this.
Sure do.
Both of these gentlemen, that's how you find them on social media, and I know these to be upstanding, quality gentlemen. That's why they're my friends. I don't waste my time with men that don't sympathize, men that don't understand. And I've run into a few that's been assholes and abusers, but I've tried to eliminate that over the years in my life. So Chris, I thank you, brother. You've always been a top-notch, honest dude. Chuck, I appreciate you for coming in, just lending the voice and the knowledge tonight. And really, this has been very powerful. I've had so many people text me and say they just can't believe how powerful this conversation has been tonight. So I'm looking forward to part 2 of this. And here's the deal. Tara, you have a message that needs to be delivered, period, by itself. TT, your journey, we're going to continue to follow it because you have a message that needs to be shared. You know what I'm saying? So just think of tonight as a breakthrough in everything that
Amen.
we all have coming forward,
Amen.
right?
Amen.
Amen.
I
Amen.
completely.
Yep. Yep. I love you all so very much. Chris and TT, thank you all so much for being co-host tonight. Tara, I'm gonna check on you tomorrow because it is something else that I'm gonna have you back on the show for, just to talk about some
So,
things. I got
go back to you was doing the chat back in church basements or wherever we were 20 years.
yes.
So it's a in a way it's a full circle, and so I am honored to do so, and however I can help and share this message and alpha support, then I want to do that.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you for making this Monday night incredible. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night. Actor Carl Weathers will be here with us. Apollo from Rocky. Also,
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. That's a
And he's on
mouthful,
the
right?
Mandalorian.
That's right.
Mandalorian
That's
starts this
right.
week.
We
Yeah.
excited. Yes, we are
That's right.
excited to have him all night. All right. God bless you all. Be safe. I'm gonna put the comments up once I get everybody off of here. God bless. Thanks so much, and I'll
All
talk
right.
to you
Thank
guys
you.
real soon. Be
About
You all
well.
take care.
All right, here we
All
go.
right.
All right, here we go. Love you guys. I do. This was great. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a really powerful show this evening. TT, I love you, darling. Get some rest. We'll talk in a minute. Okay. Let's see what we have. We have, oh, so let's see this. Let's see. You know, I'm gonna get 12 out. The same ratio. All my guests tonight. Right about me, you know, right over real chatdaddy.com, real chatdaddy.com. Very easy and simple. It's right there. Please, if you can, to be a part of realchatdaddy.com and go Facebook, YouTube. If you like the show, I love you guys so very much. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.